very good afternoon. The backdrop of Lake Hawassa and the mountains just surrounding the city of Hawassa will usher us into the stadium at the Hawassa University Stadium. A lovely little city tucked into the greenery of the lakeside, and usually has the humidity that comes from the lake as well, plus a little bit of a wind sometimes and some rain as well. By the time it comes back to the evenings, you do expect that it's going to be drizzling a bit. When it does drizzle, it makes it very cool. It makes the grass green as well, but then the humidity takes over again in the very convectional weather that you will get around the lakesides. Hadiya Hossana is taking on Ethiopia Coffee in a crunch match for both sides, in a fight to find out then who is going to be in position to the St. George side, the Ethiopia Buna side rather, being in the second position with 37 points, and Hadiya having a possibility of going to 38 if they win the match today. And that means that it's going to be a very hard match. The match commissioner is Fikadu Girma, brings them onto the field now in readiness for this. And I think the Ethiopia Buna side are honoring the prowess of their striker Abubakar Nasir. And Abubakar Nasir has already scored 27 goals, so he's already surpassed the record of the Ethiopian Premier League itself. And I think the fans and the players themselves will be giving him an ovation as well. He's the only one who's wearing the jersey that he plays in. The rest are wearing a jersey emblazoned in the words congratulations 27 plus. That means he's already scored 27 goals. He's already surpassed the record in the Ethiopian Premier League, which was at 25 goals for one season, and he now holds both the club record and also the national record in terms of club for scoring of goals. So 27 goals. The golden boot obviously will go to him. Now, if he keeps it that way, with 27 goals, it's only Mujib Kasebo's close to him, and that means Mujib has to score 8 goals in one match that is remaining for the Fossil side, for him to be able to take it over from Abubakar Nasir, and that looks very highly improbable. So they have almost the same team that they used the last time. Desta Mamushi still there. Daro Tessa will be helping them up front with Dula Mulatu, and Kibriab Yared is also included in this team. Joreje and Dale Abaine and Ono Karficho are still there. Bereket Wolde Johannes, Segaseo Demamu, and Kalea Wubshet. That's the only new player in there. He's playing his very first game for the Hadiya Hossana side. Is going to be on that team sheet. Yared Bekele Bogale today benches Sintayehu Tamrat, who himself took over from Mohamed Muntari on the Hadiya side. A little bit of the absence of the players who have made them come this far on the Hadiya Hossana side. On the Ethiopia Buna side, they know the importance of having everybody on the field, and Tekla Mariam Shanko will be in goal. Aile Gebretinse is there as well. Abebe Tilaun is there. Tunjor is there. Tesnot Kebede. Solomon, that's Tafese, and the other Solomon William will be in the midfield as well. Emmanuel Ioannis, Mikias Mokenen, and the top scorer himself, Abubakar Nasir, together with Abtamu Tadese. So they put in their best men for this game. They know just how important to get all the 3 points from this one. Tewodos Mitiko will be the center referee, assisted by Shewan Gizao Tababel and Mohamed Hussein, and the fourth official will be Teferi Alebacho. So it will be very important for the Ethiopia Buna side to also try and solidify their second position, because they are just ahead of St. George's, breathing on their neck with 37 points, but St. George are 4 goals short of what the Ethiopia Buna side has done so far. So actually 3 goals short of it. The bench on the Hadiya Hossana side will miss at least 4 players, but the ones they have will have to do the job. Bin Har Tumiso, Shetu Girma, Dinkle Kebede, Kalebeyede, Mintasidora Carlo, Natnael Herego, some of them who have not been used previously, like Natnael, might just get a chance in today's game. The others, even Shetu Girma has not played before in this team. And for Mintasidora Carlo, it's going to be his second game altogether. If you put the total number of games of the men on the bench, the 7 of them have played maybe 10 matches at the maximum, and they haven't played for a lot of minutes either. The fans themselves honoring their striker Abubakar Nasir. They've given him get of honor as he was walking onto the field of play and set him ready for a match against the Hadiya Hossana side. This is going to be one of the hardest matches for Hadiya Hossana, but we know Hadiya Hossana as well is another very hard side. He's going to give the hardest time as well to Ethiopia Buna. If you look at the way they came into this match, then Hadiya did win their last match, and Ethiopia Buna drew their last match. In fact, they've drawn their last 4 matches, the Ethiopia Buna side, and previously had a loss. The last win they had was over Sebeta. That's a couple of days back. Their biggest win was over Diredawa. That was a 3-1 win, and that's a couple of days back as well. And so they would want to try and get at least 3 points out of this one. They've notched draws all along. Total number of draws for the side is 7 now. The Hadiya Hossana side on the other side came in from 2 losses against Awasa, 3-0, and 3-2 against Sebeta, but then they won their match against St. George, so they would look like they are on the ascendancy as well. But as it would be, this is a fight for the second position as well, and for better placings for Hadiya on the log, and for Ethiopia Buna to solidify its second position. So it's going to be a hard match. 4-3-3, 4-3-3, Gilbert. That is the formation that we have been given. I'm Bernardo Tiero. I'm just consulting Gilbert, who's on my side as well, to take you through the 90 minutes. They have a similar formation in a crunch match here.
Absolutely, Bernard. Remember that they played a 4-4-2 against St. George and managed to win 1-0, but because of...
Well, Solomon goes on to the left side, and the cross, it's in the net. Abu Bakar, in the second minute of the game, has already scored. 28 is the number of goals now that Abu Bakar has scored. This being pushed back into play by Yared Bekele Bogale. And then Abu Bakar just latching onto that rebound from the goalkeeper. The speedster William Solomon bringing in the cross from the left side after it had been not cleared. Solomon picks it up, gets a return ball. He's onside, cuts it back. Goalkeeper has a touch on it, and an easy punch into the net, Gilbert.
Well, it's a long day, and William Solomon, of course, being involved in this particular move, and Abu Bakar being at the prime place to be able at least to nod his 28th goal of the league.
Well, Abtamu Tadesse had a touch on it as well, and is the one who has the first shot towards the goalkeeper. Abu Bakar just reacts quickly to take the rebound away from him.
Oh, it's interesting, Bernardo. I was just about to tell you that it's going to be a big hurdle for the Hadiya Hossana midfielders to contain William Solomon and Tafese Solomon, because this is the engine of the Ethiopian Buna side, and the only way to stop Abu Bakar from scoring is stopping those 3 players.
Hadiya Hossana 0, Ethiopia Coffee 1. And a second-minute goal from Abu Bakar Nasser will obviously have them with their tails wagging and feeling like they are in control of the game as well. It's going to be a foul here that will be given to the Ethiopia Coffee side. So it's a question of how many goals will Abu Bakar Nasser score in the Ethiopian Premier League. He's already beaten the record of 25. He's already now at 26. He's already now 28, I beg your pardon. And it's a club record as well as a league record. So it's just a question of breaking his own record as he goes along. And obviously putting it beyond his nearest challenger, Mujib Kasim, to try and get to him. And then that should already be going away in favor of Abu Bakar Nasser. That's him again. The young man certainly has put himself in very good books with literally everybody who's looking at him. He's a good striker, a good number of goals scored, a stand-up for the national team as well. And makes it very difficult for Eyasu Merhat Sedik. Dr. Eyasu Merhat Sedik, who's the assistant coach who took over the running of the Hadiya Hossana side. This is chipped towards the goalkeeper, and we'll start the build-up from the side. We were talking about the formations before we were given something else to celebrate, Gilbert.
Well, it's a 4-3-3 for Hadiya, with Desta Mamouche to play on the wider areas on the left-hand side. And of course, at the top, they have Dawa Hotesa and Dula Mulatu to assist on the right-hand side. Bereket Volde Johannes will definitely have to contend with the speed that Abu Bakar Nasser is going to be bringing on board. For Abu Bakar, for Ethiopia Buna, they've maintained the same lineup. Of course, Mikas Mekinon coming in the first half just to try and solidify that forward line. The defense is still intact. Abebe Telaon and Mentesinot Kebede, with, of course, Tekle Mariam Shanko coming in goal for Ethiopia Buna.
Well, they better do some work for the team now. They're already on the field of play. The afternoon heat, of course, will be one to contend with. Abebe Telaon pushes it back into the midfield. Oh, a good little touch coming off Tafese Solomon. Going to lose possession here for a throw. It's going to be for the Hadiya Hossana side. We've had a couple of bad things, not really bad things, but undesirable things happening off the field that has affected their performance. They don't have their regular players on the field, and this is not the first time. When they played against the Awasa side, they had a similar problem there. They played 10 men against Awasa, and then ultimately played only 9 men because they didn't have any substitutes on the bench, and that was after Tezera Abute was injured. So they're used to being in the disadvantage. But then they've been able to string in a team since then, playing against the better and losing by 3-2 using the youngsters, and then playing against St. George and winning by 1-0. This is going to be a foul here. Yeah, Bebetilahun, the guilty man here. As you see him going on to Desta Mamush, one of the newest men who's being revealed by the Hadiya Hossana side after the senior players decided they were not going to honor their matches for administrative reasons that had not been done for them. And they claimed the obligations had not been taken care of. It's going to be a free kick. And Tekle Mariam Shanko is issuing instructions to everybody to be able to find out where the ball is going to be going to. They want him to... He wants them to place themselves in a place where they can be able to block the feed, but also he can be able to see the ball as it's going towards him. Tessa looks like an automatic choice to take this one for Hadiya Hossana. Usually packs the power as well, forces Tekle Mariam Shanko into a save that sends the ball out for a corner.
It's
well
good
taken,
technique.
that one.
Good technique. There's power behind it. The ball is actually dipping, and at the right moment, Tekle Mariam Shanko with good reflex action just to parry the ball away.
That's why I wanted at least to have vision onto that ball. It's a fingertip touch. It's going to be a corner on the other side for the Hadiya Hossana side. Well, the referee doesn't want any pushing or pulling in that place. He wants everybody to calm down. That's what the center referee, Tewodos Mitiku, says. But it's going to be that very undesirable time when Segaseo Demamu is also pushing out. Tamu Tedese is marking him. And I think that it's going to be a lot of pushing. Semamu's being marked out here. Here's a header taken by Tekle Mariam Shanko. Again, coming from Daro Tessa, the talisman of the Hadiya Hossana side. The man is going to be doing a lot of striking up at the front, sometimes on his own, Gilbert.
It's good delivery, it's good power behind it, well floated by Alficho, and of course redirected by Dao Tessa. You want to thank the goalkeeper for being sharp.
They're trying to start it on the left side. Asra Tunja is caught in the 3-1 against Diredao, and here is Solomon, who brought in the cross earlier on for Abu Bakar. The spirited effort to try and cut that ball out from the defense. Ultimately, a better control from Emmanuel Ioannis, the captain of the Ethiopia Buna side. It's going out to the left side now. Ioannis finding space to be able to move it in for Asrat Tunjo. Cuts it back to Solomon. And Emmanuel just gives it back now. Solomon wants to chip it into the center, trying to look for some central penetration as well. The better idea is to play it on the outside right. Well, they've gone back into their default settings, knocking the ball around every time and looking for the best of the passes. They probably will look for the most stylish of ways to get into the box. But for Hadiya Hossana side, they will just be looking at the top and finding out where to take it to. That's going to be a goal kick, because in that full flight, Dawa Hossana doesn't control it, and he has the last touch on it.
Yeah, I think the most important thing about Hadiya is how they're going to make those counter-attacks, because it's clear that they know that Buna is going to move up in numbers, and therefore there's going to be spaces behind them for Hossana to run into.
Well, he already tried to take a chip and to lift the ball up to take the Mariam Shanko. Shanko quickly just pushing it out. Here's Haile Gabriel. He'll get a touch for a throw-in. They still got to be given to the Ethiopia Buna side. Quick one back to Abebe Tilahun. Takla Mariam Shanko enjoying the way he's coming out of his goal area to play that one. He loves to play slightly out of his line every time the ball is coming back to him. Almost gives the team an impression of having an extra man in defense. This is being pushed forward by Abebe Tilahun. Well, they're not getting onto the ball to be able to control it, the Hadiya Hossana side, so that makes it easier for the Ethiopia Buna side, who are possession now, and are going to get the throw-in as well from the left side of the attack. This is taken all the way back to Emmanuel Ioannis, captain of the Buna side. Well, you almost are caught into, ball watching every time that the Ethiopia Buna side is coming forward, because you know they're going to run it around. Then they'll look for a quick break in the center, and that's the hallmark of their game. This is going to be a foul here, just a push from behind, and it's coming from one of the hardest men in there, Abebe Tilahun. Doesn't want to have this man, Dawa Hossana, getting any chance up at the front. It's going to be a free kick, and it is for Hadiya. Rolls off the field of play, then a goal kick will be given to the Ethiopia Buna side. They got very good accolades, the Ethiopia Buna side, in terms of the record that they bring into this game. Probably much better than the Hadiya Hossana side by far. And I've been at it longer. This is going to be a foul then. Emmanuel Ioannis, a aggrieved party here, will get the free kick for the Ethiopia Buna side. If they win, the Buna side will get to 40. And then they'll have to wait for the last game then to see what else is happening there, because if St. George don't win their last match, they will not get to 40. So 40 is the mark to be able to watch. Sabeta can only get to 39. Hadiya, with this match and the other match that is remaining, can actually get to 41. No. They have only one match remaining now. If they win this one and they win the next one, then that's when they can get to 41. So this is a very tough challenge for both sides, the Hadiya side and the Ethiopia Buna side. One of them is going to be dropped from that second position fight with this game. This has been Tessinot Kebede. Gets a return ball. It's going to come to Abebe Tilahun on the left side. And to Asrak Tunjo on the left side. I think he just abandons the chase there to face it. Decides he's not going to be going for it, as he didn't think he was going to catch up with it. Oh, the midfield player is going to be so integral to what happens in this game. And whoever controls that midfield can as well claim they're controlling this game altogether. So it's important to have it working for you quite as early as you can. At the moment, it is the Buna side who are looking better in the midfield play, and giving the Hadiya side a little time to deliberate on what else they need to do. Goes out for a throw-in. It's going to be for the Hadiya Hossana side. Referee says started from behind here. So Intestinot Kebede just sends it up at the front on the right side. And this one cuts it out totally for a throw-in. All the way back to Tekle Mariam Shanko, who's made a mistake with this one, but the defenders come up to help him out very quickly. The Hadiya Hossana side don't capitalize on it. We've seen situations in which the goalkeepers have been waylaid from mistakes like those ones very easily, and have lost possession and have ultimately paid the price for it. Emmanuel Ioannis in the midfield brings it back to Tafese Solomon. Yeah, you're going to have to contend with that kind of play for a little while, especially if the Buna side is leading. That is their style, Gilbert. It's going to happen a lot, and you're going to have to look out for the statistics on the passing and the accuracy of it.
Absolutely, and this calls for what I would call collective responsibility on Hadiya. How they move back in numbers just to be able to at least to block those passing lanes.
So you're saying they should try to block them easy?
Yes,
they're staying back in their defense, you know, because they've got a difficult task of also defending. So they're trying to stay into their defensive formation. And they're breaking into a defensive formation of 4 and 3 in the midfield every time they're losing possession. Trying to keep that shape as well. Intestinot Kebede sends it to the right side. Joreje tried to get it out of his area, just ended up in the midfield and was controlled by Emmanuel Ioannis. Goes out to the right side now, just out of safety, and in a little bit of desperation, it's sent off the field of play with Ethiopia Buna quickly picking it up. Solomon, the 2 Solomons, but that's William Solomon. Let's see him again on the ball. Brought in the earlier cross on his left foot. Now he brings one on the right foot as well. Dula Mulatu will try to send it up at the front for Hadiya Hossana. He's got a little touch on it. He's got another defender approaching him. And Mulatu tries again to get the ball to him. But Intestinot Kebede is the one who stops him short of running forward. But he should see the way the 2 defenders have to come in quickly to stop one man.
Absolutely. They know that speed that Hadiya Hossana possesses, and therefore, should he put the ball in front of them and what is taken off, it's very difficult to stop.
Well, that is what Intestinot Kebede was trying to stop. Abebe Tilahun was also running across. Knew that there was Dula Mulatu there, who's got speed as well. This time round, he causes an unnecessary foul. Oh, and Asrat Tunja just sweeps him from behind. Wasn't even going for the ball at all. And this will be a free kick that has been taken by the Ethiopia Buna side. 7 fouls in total here. Hadiya with the 4 fouls, and Ethiopia Buna just 1 less. Again sent to the right side, the combination of Tilahun and Intestinot Kebede is for defensive purposes. And just trying to get the ball away from the area, looking for an avenue to use as well. Ethiopia Buna will again play it out to the left side. Then trying to change the wing here. Was it a very good idea after all? It's been stopped by Dula Mulatu, who tries to power up the other man up at the front. A left foot attempt at a cross is very easily stopped by Abebe Tilahun out for a corner. What happened there, Gilbert? I thought he had it all in his stride.
No, it's good counter-attack by Hadiya, and they found Memusha in a very, very prime position. Good recovery by the defenders just to stop that 45 back to Hadiya Hossana.
So that means that Dula Mulatu has got the options to use on either Destama Mush or to use on Hadiya Hossana. Again, the header going off target here. He gets onto it, but he doesn't direct it towards goal. And obviously blames something.
That was good defending. That was very good defending. Mamush was definitely going to get a pass to Hadiya Hossana to have changed the dynamics of his game.
This is an attempt to get it to Dula Mulatu. Again, it doesn't work out. A big run on the right side, with Mikias Mekonnen trying to get into it as well, but then it's very easily cut off by Bereket Walde Johannes for a throw-in. Comes to the midfield to Safese Solomon. Good one to Tamatadese, who lifts it for Abubakar. He's controlled it, he's waylaid everybody else, was trying to score a classic goal, just lifting it above the defender and the goalkeeper as well. Dummied them and took them in one direction. That will be the one that has just refused to go in, but it probably would have been the most classic of them all and would maybe have been the most celebrated of them all, Gilbert.
And again, look at the timing of the pass. I mean, they don't deal with it, and the goalkeeper is sitting on the ground. He decides to be cheeky. That is just being cheeky.
I mean, the goalkeeper thought there was going to be a shot here, and he dummies it and pulls it on himself, and then he just wanted to lob it over everybody else in the easiest of ways to get it into the net. It's going to be a foul here. And the referee says, hold on, get the ball to me here. As he's looking at what happened to Abtabu Tadese. He's trying to take a shot there, but I don't think there was any intention at all to injure him in that situation.
No.
But he's rolling on the ground in some pain. And I think the referee will obviously decide on what to do here. Abubakar Nasser dummies everybody else and then tries to chip this one over the defender and into the net. Just some quick reaction is the one that gets it off close to the line. By which time, I tell you, he had already been gotten the better of there. Sigaseu Debabu and I had to wait for Kelly Abubshe to come in and clear it. 28 goals from the youngster. It's definitely going to be part of the national team for a very long time. And if they were looking for a young player of the season, I don't think they'll have to look very far. He's come back into the midfield for Hadiya. Trying to chip it forward to Hadiya Hossana. Not a very good idea because there were enough of the Black Stockings waiting for it. Bubakar Nasser, that's offside on Solomon. No doubt about it. That started off just a little bit too early and was not going to get off too far. Joreje plays it out to the right side. That transition from the midfield by the Hadiya Hossana side and especially to the front needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's not accurate.
Absolutely. And I think they are playing to their strength. They realize that they are not very good in the technically in the midfield, and therefore as soon as they get the ball they want to play the long passes, but the delivery must be good,
must be accurate as well, you know, especially if it's going to Hadiya Hossana. And now they've got Desta Mamush as well to use. So Tamata Dese is back into the game. This again will be picked up by Hadiya. Jureja has it. Chips it forward. It's a good ball this time round. It's going to be offside. It's going to be offside. Mamouche will have to wait for another chance to use to put the ball in the net. Started off slightly earlier. And I think you and I might be able to see it again. Then also to decide. But Desta didn't think he was offside at all. You've got to look at the last man, and then from where the ball is being played, he's already out, and there are two of them.
Yeah, he is.
Including Daro Testa, who's offside on this side as well. And maybe he just controls it with his hand as well, so that is not going to work for him. You know, sometimes when you're in a desperate situation, everything always seems to be working against you, Gilbert.
Absolutely, and Desta Mamouche knows that he's just been introduced into the league. But so far, Bernard, this youngster has done well.
He has, but not as well as this other youngster who's already scored now 28 goals with this second minute goal here. Well, Abubakar just easily topped this into the net, and he could have scored another goal cheekily a couple of minutes ago. As they go into the water break, obviously they'll be discussing how else to approach this game. It's working for them at the moment. They are stringing the passes correctly. They're accurate as well. They are permeating the defense from the left and the right as well. What more do you think they should discuss?
Well, I think it's a question of, you know, moving the ball faster, because they are kind of slowing the ball down, you know, going back to their default setting. So in the final third, move the ball a little faster, they can be able to get the scores.
They've played it at the center, the coffee side, and only the center and the right side.
Yeah, on both sides. Hossana and Kofi are actually using the right-hand side of the attack. Mikes making on for Buna and Dula Mulatu on the right-hand side. Very, very little that has been happening on the left-hand side of the attack.
Well, it's just a cross that came in from the left-hand side for the Ethiopia Buna side. But more than everything else, they're trying to go through the center. This T-shirt's being worn by the fans, and the players in the dugout as well are in honor of this man, Abubakar Nasir, who's surpassed the number of goals scored in the Ethiopian Premier League in one season. Wanted a very cheeky one here. Took it in a little bit of a hurry. It forces a quick clearance from Bereket Walde Johannes. And I don't think he's finished for today's game. He probably still has a lot of energy that he wants to bring into it. Pushed back into defense with Tekna Mariam Shanko playing in that role. This one goes out. It's going to be a throw-in. And headed back into the midfield. Manuel Ioannis will try to play it out on the right side. There's going to be a foul here that will still be given to the Ethiopia Buna side. Never mind the fact that there was a collision, and two of them are seemingly in a not very comfortable position. The captain was part of that. What do you think is going on in Kasaya Rage's mind, the coach of Ethiopia Buna?
I think they think their plot was to try and get as many goals as possible.
Look at the coaches here. Shifra Zilalam is on the left. In the middle is Sebeta coach Mebratu. On the other side is Wubetu, the national coach. They love their soccer, and they can afford to play together, even though they are in competition usually very hard against each other.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's a good camaraderie for, yes, to have the national team coach, you know, visiting all this, the games, you know, being around all the games.
Good change onto the right side to Abebe Tilahun. It looked pretty obvious of where he was going to be taking the ball. Rather to Mintesi, not Kebede, it looked pretty obvious of where he was going to be taking the ball. But the speed with which he comes out with it now tells you that they're looking for that slight chance and opening to be able to move further. Well, as expected, the Ethiopian Coffee side would have more of the possession, and also the percentage in the 28 minutes played is heavily in favor of the Ethiopia Coffee side. Good ball forward, try to get Daro Tessa to run, not accurate though. And that's gonna cause a restart for the Ethiopia Buna side. Nasser comes back into the midfield to help a bit, while at the same time trying to position himself up forward. Tamu Tadese chancing on the fact that Nasser will be running out on that side. For Tsegaseu Demamu, it's all about safety. It's not thinking about anything else. Just quickly removes it from the area. If it ended like this, then it means that Kofi would be at 40 and St. George would be in the third position. Sebeta would still be there as well, and 39 would be Sebeta's maximum. St. George would get to 40, but then we'd have to look at the goal difference, which is +5 for the Kofi side, and that's a big one for them as well. And Hadiya will remain in that position. So 3 points will work very well, and like I said earlier on, one of the two teams will be shaken off from that, you know, run for the second position for the Confederations Cup chance in this game alone. Professor Solomon tries to get it to Astra Tunjo, but this goes out. It's going to be a goal kick. To the Hadiya side. So quick one by Astra Tunjo. Daro Tessa latches onto an easy one in the midfield. Jareje has it. He's looking at how to open up the flanks, decides to change it onto the side and tries to put her through, and for Daro Tessa and Dula Mulatu to run for. It's got to be slightly ahead of them, not too far ahead of them, because they're defenders there who are also cutting them off.
And away from the keeper. Because
away from the keeper, yes, not directly in front of the keeper. Yes,
because the keeper is playing as a sweeper for Ethiopia Buna.
So they know that you lump these ones in the center there, there's going to have an extra man. Getting it back to Mintasinot. Solomon just quickly pushes it to the front. And then again, Segaseu Demamu will just nod it down to his goalkeeper, Yared Bogale. Playing only his second game for the Hadiya Hossana side. There'll be a foul by Emmanuel Ioannis on Daro Tessa. Lands a little bit awkwardly, but picks himself quickly enough. There's a push coming from Ioannis that makes Daro Tessa lose the balance there. Two fouls so far by the captain of the Ethiopia Coffee side. So long distance away, captain will probably try to send it as close as he can to the goal area. Seno Karficho is going to be taking it. He scored the penalty in the 17th minute against St. George in that game in which Hadiya won by 1 goal to nil. Here is Daro Tessa. Is all blockage on his path in trying to get a shot towards goal. He's got support coming in from behind him, but he can't even turn. Sweeps off a cross that is picked off easily by Tekle Mariam Shankwa. Long ball intended for Nasir, but he was always chancing that the defender would miss it. I think the flag is up for offside on the other side, but this bit a little bit worried here. Wupshet and Edo Karficho really need to take care of that defense. Abu Bakr just slightly ahead of the defenders here.
Slightly, but again, they don't deserve to miss those balls. I mean, once you miss that ball, it goes beyond you, then you're in trouble when it comes to Abu Bakr Nasir.
Yeah, you're going to have problems there. Big problems. 34 minutes of play gone. 11 more in the before the halftime break. And very tense moments for both sides, and especially so for the Hadiya Hossana side. Despite what is going on with the Hadiya Hossana side, they are maintaining what I would like to call a respectable position in the log, in the 5th position. The worst that can happen to them is probably, well, they're just the 5th, I mean, or the 6th, because there's only Bahar Dar to contend with there, and Bahar Dar have already finished their assignments and have 33 points. So then Hadiya can only finish in the 5th position, actually, at the worst. It's going to be a foul that will be given to the Hadiya Hossana side. It's going to be taken by the captain, Eno Karficho. He'll most likely try to push it just behind the defenders and have them work it from there. The referee tells everybody else to calm down. Oh, it goes close to behind there. Enough men trying to go for it. And the push by the captain again sends it far out. It's going to be a goal kick. This is going to be for the Ethiopia Buna side. Gilbert, 35 minutes played. What do you make of the game?
Well, I think Hadiya are holding on very well, despite all that is happening around them. Ethiopia Buna failed to dictate the pace. They're just moving the ball around and enjoying themselves.
This is kept in play by Tekle Mariam Shanko, who knows that he could have been going out for a corner. And you're right about that, Gilbert. The Buna side was expected to have some intensity in dictating the pace in this game, but that has not happened. Yes, they've scored the goal and they've had the possession working for them, but Hadiya is holding on brilliantly in this game and actually taking the fight to the Ethiopia Buna side. And the other better thing about the Hadiya side is they're maintaining the defensive shape even when they lose the ball. It's going out to the right side. William Solomon has rolled back into the midfield. Emmanuel Ioannis. And play to Asrat Tunjo. Ioannis again. Skip ball down on the right side. And staying onside as well for the Ethiopia Buna side. Nasser is asking for the feed to come to him. Solomon was getting ready for the kill here. He finds the white and maroon jerseys blocking the way. Good return by Mikias Mekonen and coming back to Solomon. This is Tafese. Asrat Tunjo getting the return ball, veering off towards the center. This is Solomon again. Plays it out to the right. Enough men are opening up, including Emmanuel Ioannis, who wants it on the left side. Nice little run on the right side, but Solomon can't get to this because it's too close to the goalkeeper. It's too close to the goalpost as well. The small darting runs just unable to get him there. But he had a good idea, Gilbert. He's gone past the captain, putting the ball right through his feet, wanted to bring in across from that right side.
Yeah, he's one hell of a player. He really doesn't have the physique, but he's very, very quick on his feet.
He makes up for it with the skill that he brings into the ball delivery. Abebe Tilahun brings it back to Asrat Tunjo. Some nice ball skills from Asrat Tunjo. It's probably what endeared him to the coach of the national team. He was part of the team that did qualify the Ethiopian nation to the Africa Cup of Nations. It's going to be a foul on Daro Tessa. So a free kick to the Buna side. Well, looking for the options, the Ethiopia Buna side find Tafese Solomon in the midfield, and then William Solomon out on the right side. Play on, says the referee. It's out on the right, with three men in yellow jerseys up at the front, and the ball going past the defenders. The cutback at 45. It's going to be a foul on the goalkeeper, with the attempt by Abtamu Tadese to get in and push the ball into the net. Finds the ball already in the hands of Yared Bogale, the goalkeeper. That's going to be a foul on him. They're troubling the defense here, the Ethiopia Buna forward.
Yeah, this should be Mikias Mekonen with his little quick steps, and he has about 6 tackings just putting pressure on him. But to bring in a 45 in a very tight angle like that is just a marvel to watch.
Yeah, and we know that Tamuta Dese actually does get a knock from the goalkeeper himself. He's trying to move forward. The goalkeeper is moving to pick up the ball. The foul ultimately given to Yared Bugale, the goalkeeper. You by now know that the name Bugale has become very famous in the footballing world now. Just because of the super sub, Igazu Bugale, who plays for Sidama and who has come in 3 times as a substitute and scored. He's going to go all the way to Tekla Mariam Shanko. He'll start it from his side. Tekla Mariam is not in a hurry to take this one. 41st minute that we are playing. It's too early for them to think about taking minutes off this game. There's so much to play for, especially for the Ethiopia Buna side. But I think they are now looking at the fact that you know, any of them can be shaken off the run for the 2nd position in just this match. So they're protecting the lead that they have, and equally protecting the game, trying to manage it, albeit in the kind of style that we have seen from the goalkeeper, Tekla Mariam Shanko. Abebe Tilahun has played it to Astra Tunja, who gives it back to Abebe. Looking for a quick change onto the right side. They've got 2 men waiting for it there. And Emmanuel Yohannes is one of the men who runs into the position there. Solomon has a touch on it. Joreja then picks it up. But then Mamouche doesn't take control of it. In a time you expected them to begin a run. Comes back into the midfield, and again Professor Solomon with the responsibility of distributing it, tries to take it to Habtamuta Dese. Easy take then for the Ethiopia Buna side with Professor Solomon. Here is Dara Tesa now. Can he be able to take care of everybody else in defense? Well, he's gone past the defenders, tries to cut back, and this one is in the net. After the initial shot by Dula Mulatu, it comes to the man who we really did expect to be the one who will be scoring. And Desta Mamouche is on target against the Ethiopia Buna side. What you hear from the stadium and the celebration you're seeing from the Hadiya side is testimony to the fact that the 2 sides can very easily get into the 2nd position and into the Confederations Cup qualification for the country as well. And that's why they're celebrating massively, and the fans as well are celebrating it. Quite unexpectedly for the Hadiya Hossana side. And the 3 most lethal men up at the front, Dara Tesa, Desta Mamouche, and Dula Mulatu are involved. But Desta is the one who gets onto the target. Now it started from what looked like a very casual delivery and a mistake by the defenders.
And in sheer hard work by Dao Tesa, that is good speed, being pinned down by 2 players. But again, that 45 and Mulatu involved, and Memusa at the right point to score his 2nd goal of the league.
And the other thing is that they can't complain about an offside, because Abebe Tilahun is actually on the line, putting everybody onside by the time even the ball's coming from the goalkeeper. There is absolutely no offside there. The scoreline has changed. Hadiya Hossana 1, Ethiopia Coffee 1. We're going to have a very interesting game here, Gilbert. No doubt about it.
Bernard, in most of the matches that Coffee has conceded is because of complacency again.
Oh, and then this time round, it's not very well taken. But would have been surprising the goalkeeper again. Oh, Tekla Mariam Shanko this time round at least has stayed in line, but they're not releasing the ball as quickly as they can. And this one, oh, Mulatu.
Mulatu should have taken his time.
He could have. He's a very fast player. He could have even just controlled it and started the run on the right side.
Yeah, he should have taken his time. because that was a golden opportunity presented to him.
He wanted a stylish goal. Shanko is complaining. Got a couple of seconds remaining in regular time. And we haven't had stoppage in this, so it's probably going to be just 1 minute of added time. Well, parity has been restored by Desta Mamush. They're going to have to think about what they're going to be doing. For the Ethiopia Buna side, it's been very difficult to imagine that they are trailing the game, and they've come back to draw the game in the last game they played against Sidama, scoring in stoppage time. That's for Tunjo, is top shot this time round. They had another draw against Bahar Dar, in which again they came from behind to be able to equalize against Bahar Dar, and then they drew 0-0 with the lighter, drew 0-0 with Jima, and the last one was the big derby that they lost to St. George. So if they were to remember when they last win, it was against Sebeta. That's a couple of matches back, 5 or so matches behind. For the Hadiya Hossana side, well, they had a win over St. George, and they convinced themselves that they're big enough. If St. George won over Ethiopia Buna and Hadiya won over St. George would be thinking they should be the ones getting the respect out of this match. I think all the dynamics then making it very interesting for a game of football, with Abubakar Nasir being provided for. There is a quick chance to pick it away, and then it's still not out completely. It's going to be a foul that is going to be given to Hadiya Hossana, probably in the last part of, in the last touch, that would probably then send us into the break in the first half of the game. They're really just trying to get it to Abubakar Nasir, but some spirited defense is coming up on the Hadiya side.
Well, I would say that these are very good defensive principles that have been applied by Hadiya. And in moving forward, they're not having so many touches of the ball. It's either 1, 2 touch, and they're already
distribute it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they'll come back with that as well in the second half. I don't think we have much time to play in the first half in this one. Maybe just that take, and then we'll be waiting to hear the whistle coming from referee Tawadros Mitiku, with Bulatu getting a chance and bringing a high one. It's going to be a handball on Daro Tessa. He pulls the ball back to himself, and then in the ensuing melee in that box where he's trying to get the ball to come to him, is penalized as well. But he handled this one very with his hands, both sides. And then he tends to intimate that Abebe Tilahun has chipped him on the ankle. But that's the nature of the game. There's usually a lot of action going on there. A hand being offered by Tekla Mariam Shanko to Dahara Tessa. Decides he's going to stay on a bit on the ground, but we are into the first half. The exciting bit being that there has been a score by Hadiya Hossana that has brought the game back to parity by Desta Mamush. And that is how we are going to get into this game. So, from the Awasa University Stadium, Hadiya Hossana 1 and Kofi 1 at halftime.
በኋላ የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የ25ኛ ሳምንት ጨዋታ በሐዋሳ ዩኒቨርሲቲ ስቴዲየም 1-1 በሆነ ውጤት ሀዲያ ሆሳና እና ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ጨዋታቸውን 45 ደቂቃ ጨርሰዋል። አቡበከር ናስር የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የምንጊዜም ኮከብ ግብ አግቢነትን ወደ 28 ጎሎች ከፍ ማድረግ ችሏል። ደስታ ዋሚሾ ወጣቱ የሀዲያ ሆሳና ተጫዋች ደግሞ የአቻነቷን ጎል ማስቆጠር ችሏል። 45 ደቂቃዎቹ እንዴት ነበሩ? ከኢትዮጵያ ብሔራዊ ቡድን ዋና አሰልጣኝ ውበቱ አባተ ጋር ቆይታ እናደርጋለን። አቡበከር ከመግባቱ በፊት 27 ጎሎች ተብሎ ቲሸርት ተዘጋጅቶለት ነበር። ያ ቲሸርት እስከ 2 ደቂቃ ብቻ ነው መስራት የቻለው።
አንደኛ ቲሸርቱ ላይ 27+1 ነበር የሚለው ያው እንደሚያገባ የሚጠቁም ነገር አለ ማለት ነው። ከዚህ በፊት እንደተናገርኩት ከኔም ጋር ስንነጋገር 30 ጎል ነው የአመቱ ላይ መጀመሪያ እቅዱ። ያ ኦልሞስት ወደዛ እየተጠጋ ነው።
ሁለት ይቀርዋል።
ዛሬም እድሉ ነበረው ያንን ማድረግ የሚችልበት ግን ያው ጥሩ አቀባበል ነው።
ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሲገቡ ለተጫዋቹ ለአቡበከር በተለየ መንገድ ብቻውን የኢትዮጵያ ቡና መለያ ለብሶ ተጫዋቾቹ ይህንን አድርገዋልና ምን የተለየ ስሜት ይሰጣል?
ይህ ያልተለመደ ነው፣ ያልተለመደ ነገር ነው። እንደዚህ ነው እንግዲህ የራስህን ልጆች እያከበርክ ስትሄድ ሌላውም ደግሞ እንደዚህ አይነት ክብር ለመጎናጸፍ ይሰራል ማለት ነው። አቡበከር በዚህ ብቻ መቆም የለበትም። ከዚህ የተሻለ ክብሮችን ለማግኘት የበለጠ መስራት አለበት። ያው
የሊጉን 28ኛ ጎል ያስቆጠረው በምንመለከተው የጨዋታ ሂደት ነው። ታፈሰ ሰለሞን፣ ከዛ ዊሊያም ሰለሞን፣ ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ ሀብታሙ፣ መጨረሻ ላይ አቡበከር አስቆጥሯል።
ቦታው የተገኘበት ቦታ ትክክልም የቦክስ ሰው እንደሆነ ያስታውቃል። ከአንድ አጥቂ የሚጠበቅ ነገር ነው ያደረገው። ለሱ ከባድ አልነበረም ይሄ መጨረስ።
እንግዲህ በጨዋታው መጀመሪያ ላይ ነው አቡበከር ናስር ወደ ጎል አስቆጣሪነት የመጣው ኢትዮጵያ ቡና መምራት የቻለው። ብዙ ጎሎች የሚቆጠሩበት ይመስል ነበር። ነገር ግን ጨዋታው በዛ መንገድ አልቀጠለም።
ሀዲያ ሆሳና እንዳያቸው የመከላከል አደረጃጀታቸው ጥሩ ነው። አብዛኛውን የሜዳ ክፍል ለኢትዮጵያ ቡና ትተው ወደ ራሳቸው ሜዳ ቀርበው ነው የሚጫወቱት። ከዛ በሚያገኟቸው የመልሶ ማጥቃት በተለይ ዳዋና ዱላ ላይ የተመሰረተ አይነት እንቅስቃሴ ነው የሚያደርጉት። ከዛ የሚገኝ ጎል ለማግባት ነው አካሄዳቸው። እንዳየው ጎል የሚገባ ይመስላል ግን
ሀዲያ ወደ ጨዋታው መጥቷል። እንደገና
ሀዲያ ወደ ኋላ መመለስ ይችላል ወደ ጨዋታው።
ከ11ዱ ግማሹ የሀዲያ ሆሳና ተጫዋቾች ከ20 ዓመት በታች ያደጉ ናቸው። አቡበከርም ይሄ ድል ሲሰጠው ነው ራሱ ማሳየት የቻለውና እነዚህ አጋጣሚዎችን ለደስታ እየተጠቀሙበት ነው በሀዲያ ሆሳና።
ወጣቶቹን እንደምታየው ነው ከግብ ጠባቂው ጀምሮ ሜዳ ላይ ያሉ ተጫዋቾች እንደዚህ እድሉን አግኝቶታል። ያለፉትን 3 ጨዋታዎች የሚያየ ነው በአግባቡ የተሰጣቸውን ነገር መጠቀም እንደቻሉ ነው።
እንግዲህ እንደምንመለከተው በጨዋታው የመጀመሪያ ደቂቃ ላይ የተቆጠረው ጎል ነው። በሜዳው በስተግራ በኩል የተጀመረው እንቅስቃሴ ነው ወደ ጎልነት የተቀየረው። ከተከላካዮች የተነጠቀውን ኳስ ታፈሰ ሰለሞን፣ ከዛ ዊሊያም ሰለሞን፣ ሀብታሙ ታደሰ ማግባት የሚችለውን ግብ ጠባቂ መልሷል። አቡበከር ናስር 28ኛውን ጎል አስቆጥሯል። እንግዲህ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና ውስጥ ከተቆጠሩት ጎሎች 28ቱን ማስቆጠር የቻለው አቡበከር ነው። ቡድኑ በሱ ላይ ተመስርቷል ማለት ይቻላል።
እንግዲህ አንድ ቡድን በሱ ላይ ተመስርቷል ማለት አይቻልም። እሱ ጎል ግን ለቡድኑ ብዙ ነገር አለው። የትኛውም ዓለም ላይ ብትሄድ አንድ ቡድን ወደ ሻምፒዮናነት ለመጠጋት ወይንም ደረጃ ውስጥ ለመግባት እንደዚህ አይነት አጥቂ ያስፈልጓል። የብዙ ጎል ከ20 ጎል በላይ የሚያገባ አጥቂ ያስፈልጓል። ያንን ነው የምታየው። የአቡበከር የግል ብቃት እንዳለው ነው። የጓደኞቹን ጥረት እዚሁ ጋር ማድነቅ መቻል አለበት።
በአመቱ ሂደት ውስጥ የዳዋ ሁጤሳ እንቅስቃሴና ሙከራዎች የማጥቃት ሂደት ምስረታ ደግሞ በሀዲያ ሆሳና በኩል ሌላኛው መነጋገሪያ ርዕሰ ጉዳይ ነው። በጣም አስቸጋሪ አጥቂነቱን በየጨዋታዎቹ ላይ እያሳየ ነው። ከወጣቶቹም ጋር ከእድሜያቸው ጥሩ ከሆኑና ከገፉትም ጋር በጣም ጥሩ ነገር ያሳያል። ዳዋ
እንዳየኸው ሁለት አይነት ነገር ነው። የመጀመሪያው ዳዋ ያው ከኩዮቹ ጋር የነበረው ዳዋ ነው። አሁን ደግሞ ሌላ ተጨማሪ ኃላፊነት ተሰጥቶት እየተጫወተ ያለ ዳዋ ነው። አሁን ላይ ተጨማሪ ደብል ስራ እንዳለው ነው ያየሁት። ለቡድኑ ብዙ ነገር የሚያደርገው እሱ ነው። አሲስት ያደርጋል። ቅጣት ምቶች ላይ እንደዚሁ ጥሩ ነገር አለው። የተጋጣሚ ቡድንን በማስጨነቅ ጎል በማግባትም ሀዲያን በጣም እየረዳ እያገዘ ነው ያለው።
ካስቆጠረው ጎል በፊት የተጠቀመውን ቅጣት ምት እየተመለከትን ነው። ተክለማርያም ሻንቆ በሚገባ ኳሷን ወደ ውጭ አውጥቷታል። ከዚህ ቀጥሎ የምንመለከተው ደግሞ በጨዋታው 45 ደቂቃ አቡበከር ናስር ሌላ የማግባት እድል ያገኘበትን እንቅስቃሴ ነበረ። ይህንን ኳስ ማስቆጠር ይችል ነበር። የተለየ ነገር እያሰበ ነበር።
አዎ ጎሉን ከማስቆጠር በላይ የጎል ድሉን ያመቻቸበት መንገድ ነበር ከባዱ። ከዛ በኋላ ያለው ነገር በጣም ቀላል ነበር። እንግዲህ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ለማመን የሚከብድ ነገር ነው። አማራጮች ነበሩት። እንደምታየው በግብ ጠባቂ በቀኝ በኩል በጣም ሰፊ ክፍተት ቦታ ነበረ። እንግዲህ በሌላ ጎል ይክሳል አስባለሁ።
እዚህ ጋር ለአንድ አጥቂ በፍጹም ቅጣት ምት ክልል ውስጥ መገኘት በራሱ አንድ ነገር ነው። መረጋጋቱ ግን በአንድ አመት እድሜ ላይ ለሚገኝ አጥቂ በጣም ከባድ አይመስልም?
በጣም እንደነገርኩ ጎል ላይ ከሞከረበት ነገር በላይ መንገዱ ከባዱ ነገር እሱ ነበር። መጨረሱ በጣም ቀላል ነበር ብዬ ነው የማስበው።
ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሁለተኛ ጎል ማስቆጠር የሚችልበትን እድል ነበረ አቡበከር ናስር ያልተጠቀመበት። ከዚህ በኋላ ሀዲያ ሆሳናዎች ወደ ጨዋታው መመለስ የሚችሉበትን እድል አግኝተው ወደ ጎልነት ቀይሯል። አሁንም ዳዋ ሁጤሳ በእንቅስቃሴው ላይ ትልቁን ሚና የተጫወተው ተጫዋች ነበር።
እንዳየው እንግዲህ ዳዋ ኳሱን ከተከላካዮች ጀርባ ያገኘበት መንገድ እና ራሱ ይዞ የሄደበት መንገድ የሚገርም ነው። ሁለቱም ዲፌንሶች ወደሱ ነው የመጡት። እዚህ ጋር አሁን የቡና ተከላካዮች ጋር ክፍተት ያለ እንደምታይ በደንብ ያሳያል። ሁለቱም ተከላካዮች ወደሱ ከመሄድ ይልቅ ወደ ሬር አንግል ነው ዳዋ እየሄደ የነበረው። አንዳቸው እሱን ተከትሎ ሌላቸው ከትባኩ መጠበቅ ነበረባቸውና ሁለቱም ወደ ኳሱ በመሄዳቸው እንዳየው አንደኛ ኳሱን ዛጋ ብሎክ ማድረግ አልቻሉም። ሁለተኛ ያገባውንም ልጅ ከኦፍሳይድ ነጻ አድርገውታልና የተከላካዮቹ ስህተት ግን የዳዋን ትልቅ ጥረት እዚህ ጋር ማድነቅ አለብን።
በምስሉ ላይ በድጋሚ እንዳየ ነው ኳሱን ያገኙበት መንገድ የኢትዮጵያ ቡና ተከላካዮች ተደጋጋሚ ስህተት ይመስለኛል። ዱላና ዳዋ ይሄንን ስህተት ለማግኘት አሁንም ፕሬስ ያደርጉ ነበር። የዛ ውጤት ነው ምናልባት በ45 ደቂቃ የሳሳው ክፍል ተከላካዩ
እዛ ጋር ኳሱ መነሻውን ካየው መሀል ሜዳ ላይ ከአማኑኤል ነው የተነሳው። ከዛ ኢንተርሰፕት የተደረገው ኳስ ነው የሄደው። ምናልባት እዛ ጋር የበለጠ የተሰጣቸውን ክፍት ቦታ አውቀው ነው የሚያሸገሽጉት። ያን የሚያሸገሽጉበትን ቦታ ግን ከዛ ለመውጣት የሚደረገው ነገር ላይ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ተከላካዮች ጥንቃቄ ማድረግ ያለባቸው ይመስለኛል።
77 ከመቶ የኳስ ቁጥጥር በኢትዮጵያ ቡና፣ 23 ከመቶ ደግሞ ሀዲያ ሆሳና በኩል የኳስ ቁጥጥር የበላይነት የነበረውን የመጀመሪያውን 45 ደቂቃ ነው የተመለከትነው። የማጥቃት እንቅስቃሴዎችን ስናይ በቀኝ በኩል በኃይሌ ገብረትንሳኤ በኩል 50 ከመቶ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና፣ በግራ በአስራት ቱንጆ በኩል ደግሞ በ17 ከመቶ የሚሆን የኳስ ቁጥጥር ነው። 33ቱ መሀል ለመሀል ነው።
ባልተለመደ ሁኔታ አሁን እንደምታየው በኃይሌና በከፊቱ ባለው በሚኪ ቦታ ያለው እንቅስቃሴ የበለጠ እንትን ነው። ግን ዞሮ አሁን የምታየው ሰፊው የኳስ ብልጫ የጎል እድል በመፍጠር መታጀብ አለበት። ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሰፊ ብዙ የኳስ ቁጥጥር ብልጫ አለው። ግን የዛኑ ያህል ክሬሽን ስቴጅ ላይ የሚደርሱበትና የጎል እድል የሚፈጥሩበትን ደግሞ የበለጠ ማሻሻል እንዳለባቸው ነው የሚሰማው።
በሀዲያ ሆሳና በኩል በተጫዋች ቅያሪ አሊያም ደግሞ ይዘውት በመጡት በአፈግፍጎ ደግሞ በመልሶ ማጥቃት በመጫወት እንቅስቃሴ ምንድነው ማስተካከል ያለባቸው?
ሀዲያ ጀስት ሶሊድ የሆነ ዲፌንስ አላቸው። ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ከረፍት በኋላ ከዚህ በተሻለ አቀራረብ ብዙ በማጥቃት ላይ ይቀርባል ብዬ ነው የማስበው። እንግዲህ ካላቸው የሰው ኃይል አንጻር ወደ ሜዳቸው በደንብ ተሰብስበው በሚያገኙት ሰፊ ስፔስ ያንን የሚጠቀሙ ነው የሚመስለኝ።
አሰልጣኝ ውበቱ አባተ ከመጀመሪያው 45 ደቂቃ በኋላ ከኛ ጋር ቆይታ በማድረግ ለሰጠን አስተያየት ከልብ እናመሰግናለን። ከጨዋታው በኋላ ተመልሰን እንገናኛለን። ክቡራን ተመልካቾቻችን የመጀመሪያው 45 ደቂቃ ሁለት ጎሎች የተመለከትንበት የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የምንጊዜም በአንድ አመት ብዙ ጎሎች የማስቆጠር ሪከርድ ወደ 28 ጎሎች ከፍ ያለበትን የመጀመሪያ 45 ደቂቃ ተመልክተናል። ሁለተኛው 45 ደቂቃ ማንን አሸናፊ ያደርጋል? ከዛ ባሻገር ምን ያህል ጎሎችን አቡበከር ናስር ሊያስቆጥር ይችላል? አብረን እንከታተለው። መልካም ጊዜ ይሁንላችሁ።
While complacency on the Ethiopia Buna side and a spirited fight back from Hadiya Hossana side in the first half is what ushers us into the second half of this game that has exhibited both the technical, tactical part of it and also the physical aspect. Whether both teams are going to employ the same kind of discipline that has been shown in the first half is something that we really have to wait and see. Ethiopia Buna coming into this game on the backdrop of 4 draws, and as things stand, this could be the 5th draw. And of course, Hadiya picking 5 out of a possible 15, drawing twice, losing twice, and winning once. But the way Hadiya has, exercised themselves on the field of play, it looks like it's going to be an extremely difficult match should they continue having a very solid defense and hitting Ethiopia Buna on the counter. For Ethiopia Buna, I think it's a question of waiting and see whether Hadiya will be able at least to provide the path at which they can be able to get onto Abubakar Nasir, who has scored 28 goals of his credit, breaking his own record. And of course, in the second half, we do expect that he's going to be more explosive in the second half. And Hadiya have realized that they need to have a solid midfield, and they made that first substitution by bringing out Kibrek and also bringing in Mintesinot to try and see whether they can be able to solidify that midfield that has clearly been dominated by the Ethiopia Buna side. Well, it is a race for the second spot of the Ethiopian Premier League, with Hadiya in 5th position on 35 points, and Ethiopia Buna in 2nd position in 37 points. Well, to take us through this will be I, Gilbert Celebwa, and my lead commentator, Bernardo Tieno, in the English commentary.
Thank you very much, Gilbert. And Marcos Elias and Hailo Mikanen are in the Amharic commentary as well. You've got a choice of the two. You can choose to pick the language options on your remote control. Press 1 of 2 for Amharic, 2 of 2 will be English. Press OK and exit. And you will be enjoying that choice of the game. Second half of it as well. It's going to provide a little fight as expected, because they finished the first half with parity in 1-1. And so again, the complacency of the Ethiopia Buna side being punished by the forward line of the Hadiya Hossana side. But the gist of it all is that one of the teams, or whichever team wins here, will solidly remain in contention for the second position. Whichever team loses here will solidly be out of the running for the second position, because there is St. George with 37, same as Ethiopia Buna. Now they'll get to 38, Ethiopia Buna. And then there is the Sebeta side with 36, and there is Hadiya with 35, now with 36. And those are the teams in contention: Ethiopia Buna, St. George, Sebeta, and Hadiya Hossana. And as the draw would have it as well for the league, Hadiya is playing Ethiopia Buna, so that means one of them will be cancelled out today. And the fight is still at 1-1. The other teams watching this very interestingly is Sebeta and obviously St. George. Trying to get onto the right side, and I think Astra Tunja that realizes the danger that might just be posed if he tries to put that ball in the midfield and doesn't get it there. There would have been repercussions on that, so it sends it off the field of play. And it's going to be a throw-in for Hadiya Hossana. They made a substitution. They brought in Mintesino Takalo to play his only second game, a midfielder. And strangely, even as you say that he's playing his second game, he played for only 1 minute in the last game, brought in the very last minute of the game. So it's going to be trying to add the minutes to his play time at the Hadiya Hossana season for this season. Buna looking for the options in the midfield. They've now forced Abubakar Nasir to come back into the midfield to look for possession from there. Usually not a good sign, because it means that he's got to provide up at the front, but sometimes that is used as a decoy. And then he still slots himself in the central striking when everybody is least expecting it. Solomon. Yeah, he's got the company of Asra Tunja there, with Nasir himself having a touch that brings it back to the midfield for the Ethiopia Buna side. Tafese Solomon gets it back to Nasir, who is now waylaid and dispossessed as well. This is to Daro Tessa. He will be looking for support as well. Even as he starts the run, tries to get it on the line for Dula Mulatu. He doesn't get there and comes back into the midfield. Well, turn to the left side. Tunjo getting it back to Solomon, who brings it to Tafese. Again onto the left side for the Ethiopia Buna side, who will still try to build it up by pushing it around and trying to find the best positions to go in through. Well, still looking for the options. That's what Tunja on the left side. They might just want to abandon it on the left side and try more for the center and on the right side as well, because the whole of the Hadiya defense is facing that right side. This is going to be a corner, unless of course there's a foul that will be given to Segaseu Demamu, who's watching Abu Bakr Nasser. I think that's what happens then. He couldn't clear that ball straight, Gilbert, because again Abu Bakr Nasser was impeding on him.
Absolutely, I think there was a bump by Abu Bakr Nasser. A slim frame, but looks like he's got a lot of body mass.
Yeah, I tell you, it's very difficult to convince anyone that Abu Bakr Nasser is the one who pushed Segaseu Demamu off that ball. It's a nice take by the forward line on the Hadiya Hossana side. Again, that complacency on the Buna side showing in that instance. Good chip back into the midfield. Joreja doesn't get to it. Solomon is the one who gets there first. And a foul will be given to the Ethiopia Buna side. Manuel Yohanes, the captain, is the aggrieved party in this one. It's got to be a free kick. Abebe Tilahun will take it. And I don't know why Abebe Tilahun took his time there. It's Tafese who decides he might as well start it quickly enough. Unless that's the plan they had. Nasser heads it down. Solomon tries to get it back to him. Oh, and here is Tafese. Getting it out to the right side. Haile Gabretinsei joins the fray. Doesn't get the ball through here. The Hadiya side could have had a quick break here. It's a foul that has been called on Desta Mamouche. This could have been a disaster for the Buna side, Gilbert.
Absolutely, and they're making those mistakes right in front of their goal area, something that most of the teams have actually utilized to a lot of fruition. And Desta gets a yellow card, I think, from an earlier altercation with the Ethiopia Buna defense.
It's just going to come back into there. Comes back into the side. Just goes off the field of play. It's going to be a throw-in. Michael Jureja is becoming an integral part of the midfield, and especially in the defensive midfield for the Hadiya side. Also just stealthily going about his business in there. Quick touch by Solomon. Nasser just doesn't get onto it in good time. Comes to the captain, our feature. And then Abebe Tilahun will play it back to the right side. Feels the pinch from that little turn that he made there, Abebe Tilahun. Manuel Yohanes pushes it right onto the left side. And they're going to have to try and make a change from the left side. So, Kiruan down on the left. Solomon. And then out to the right side. Right at the center, trying to go through it. And then a change down on the right side, trying to look for Haile Gabriel-Tinsay. He's being marked by Dula Mulatu, who's got the prowess of playing on the flanks, but can always roll back into the left-back positions as well. Solomon again. Foul by Joreje. Odd William Solomon is going to give the advantage to the Ethiopia Buna side, right, not too far off from the box. He's trying the stylish play there, but Joreje just cut him off totally. Those many touches can be a little bit frustrating if you're in defense
absolutely.
on the Hadiya side.
It's either you pick the ball or you stop the man from advancing forward.
Okay.
And Michael Joreje, I'm told that he has some Italian blood, so he calls Joreje is actually George in Italian.
I don't know about that, Gilbert.
Now you know.
I speak fluent Italian, but I've never known that, Gilbert.
George.
No, it should be Giorgio. Giorgio is what it will be. Trust me, Gilbert. Don't worry about it. I know who's been I know who's giving you this information, but maybe it's a confusion of Giorgio that goes into Joreje. But I know for sure that would be Giorgio for George. But probably just in the confusion of it all, it could have changed to Joreje. Plus the fact that maybe it's just written wrongly sometimes on the tip sheet as well. For example, I do know now that Desta Mamushi is actually Desta Wamushi. The pronunciation is probably what makes it be written as Desta Mamushi, but we'll go with that for now. It's going to be taken from a couple of meters away from the box. And then a little explanation that they're not supposed to be able to move from there, and of course protecting some of the places that would hurt the most. It should be across the heart as well. And it's Abubakar who takes it. It doesn't drop down on time. It's going to be a goal kick. It's going to be for the Hadiya Hossana side. Again, not very well taken. I mean, he tries to carve it, yes, but he doesn't deep on time, Gilbert.
His foot actually is under the ball. And when you have your foot going under the ball, then the direction would always be in upward projection.
3 goal attempts. He's scored one already. But one else was going to be on target, was just cleared off the line. This is Dauro Tessa. It's being marked by 2 men, but still manages to get the ball out for a throw-in. Cleverly so, banging it on the defenders. They rely so heavily on him. This is Joreje. I'm still trying to roll the Giorgio name backwards to see where I can get to that. It can get to the explanation, Gilberto. Because Gilberto is what the name would be in Italian. You can call me Bernardo if you want. But yeah, it's somewhere along the line it can change in depending on who's calling out his name over the years. Dula Mulatu is trying to get it away, but very easily waylaid by Mikias Mekonen. And then out by Johannes to the left side. Tunjo still also trying to look for that left side to work. And brings it back to the center. You know, if this game was to end the way it is, then you know that they'd each get 1 point. So Ethiopia Coffee will still remain in that second position, but will be 1 point ahead of St. George. The goal difference would still be +4 for the Ethiopia Coffee side. There's going to be a lot of that coming in for Dao Tessa. He's a lone striker up at the front. They're relying so heavily on him. All provision is intended for him. Everything up at the front is for him to go and try and scrape off and get. And that makes for a very hard game for Dao Tessa.
Absolutely. They say as Dao Tessa is for Hadiya, then Abubakar Nasir is for
the Ethiopia Buna side. Okay. What Abubakar Nasir is for Ethiopia Buna, Dao Tessa is for Hadiya.
Yes, for Hadiya.
Okay. Is that in Italian as well? All right?
It could have been a wrong spelling.
No. I'm not talking about the spelling. I'm talking about what you said. That you know, that sentence that you just strung up now.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got a lot of truth in it. In Dara Hossana being the maximum up front for the Hadiya Hossana side, so every ball they're getting from the midfield, they're trying to get it to him. And this has been intercepted again by the Hadiya Hossana side. The only difference here is that Dara Hossana is usually able to come back into the midfield as well. I don't know why this happens here. I think there was two minds coming in on Desta Wamoshi. And he didn't know whether to let it roll off the field or play. Tries to play defensive as well, but that's not his area of defense. Should have picked this one easily. And then by the time he's deciding to bring it back into play, it's already rolled off the field of play.
He had two minds. He would have brought that ball back into play on the right-hand side of his left foot.
Again, Dula Mulatu picks up an easy ball in the midfield. Oh, it's going to be offside on Dara Hossana. Being paced up at the front. There's been possession to the tune of 72% for the Ethiopia coffee side. Hadiya Hossana just with the balance of it, but they've also been able to make the best of it and have scored a goal in the 43rd minute through Desta Wamoshi. This is going to be a free kick again. And this will be given by will be taken by the Hadiya Hossana side. And no one will remember that Hadiya Hossana once played with 9 men on the field when they played Hawassa. Everything forgotten. And no one will remember they didn't have any subs on the bench at that time. So when Tezera Abute was injured, they had to soldier on like that. There's going to be a foul here. Very deliberate one, going too hard in a ball that he knew very well he cannot be able to get to. And there's a card waiting for him. The man with the strangest of number 71s on the field. It will be very difficult to even discern that. It's Akalu Mentesinot, who gets a yellow card for just going in too hard on Abebe Dilahun. That can be injurious, of course, and plus the fact that it's going into the abdomen, you know, it knocks off the wind from you. 61st minute that we are playing. There's still 30 minutes of play remaining here. Everybody needs the oxygen that they can get for this game. Good run by Solomon. Keeps the ball in play as well, looking for support from behind. They'll find it from Asrat Tunjo. It's a quick clearance sent out of the field of play for a throw-in. It's going to be for the Ethiopia Buna side. It's going to be a free kick now. And even Abubakar Nasir himself getting complacent. I think he's going to get it himself, but he was involved in that. He's forced to come back into the midfield to pick up the loose balls. And then becomes a provider onto the right side, finds Mikias Mekonen. They're getting it back to him. Well, the thing is, Abubakar Nasir has got to be in there for them to tick up at the front. Look at where that comes from Mikias Mekonen. I mean, couldn't they play it with anybody else who was up at the front?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the blood connection between Mekonen and Abubakar.
Well, but they could have chosen a few other of the yellow jerseys that were already in the box, Gilbert. I'm just asking, do you think it was a good idea to send it all the way back?
It wasn't a good idea.
Okay, but it works all the same.
It works all the same.
Because Abubakar Nasir came from quite a distance to be able... He had provided that before, and then brings it back in. I tell you, everybody will be watching this very intently.
Yeah, it's just color.
It's back into the midfield, and to Kable to tackle Mariam Shanko. It's been missing in action. Not much is going in his direction now. The runs that they are making in the midfield falling short of getting to the end by the Hadiya side. And when it does, it's fizzling out because of a foul. Good one down on the left side. And then Abubakar Nasir to Asrat Tunja. Being watched by Bentesinota Kalu. Manuel Ioannis sends it back to the left side. So Nasir then clamps onto it. He's turning provider now. He's looking for that right flank again. This time around, there's nobody up there for him. It's going to be Yared Bekele Bogale, the goalkeeper on the Hadiya Hossana side, who will take it. Bogale is just playing his second game to match what Sintrayehu Tamira Tazad as well. This tells you 4 matches ago is when they started losing their senior players in the draw with Dawa, and then they lost to Awasa, lost to Sebeta, and then they recovered to win against St. George. Pushed back into the midfield. William Solomon changes it onto there. Left side, and then Abubakar Nasir is the one becomes the distributor. Takes away the attention from himself on a shot coming from right side by Abtamu Tedese. Veering off the target, can't take a very definite shot there because the angle has been closed down and is pushed onto the side, Gilbert.
Yeah, it's a mistake by RP. And a good pass by Mekinion, but again, the angle is very acute. Very, very acute for Tedese to do any meaningful shot on goal.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Ethiopia Buna side, obviously, by around this time, you've got a couple of different things happening in your body. You have a little headache, you have a small a very definite shot there because the angle has been closed down and is pushed onto the side, Gilbert.
Yeah, it's a mistake by Arfichu and a good pass by Mekinion, but again, the angle is very acute. Very, very acute for Tedese to do any meaningful shot on goal.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Ethiopia Buna side, obviously, by around this time, you've got a couple of different things happening in your body. You have a little headache, you have a small stomachache as well. You're not sure about whether you're sweating because of the heat or just the anxiety. Dulabula to try to latch back onto this one, but Solomon does a better job. Tafese gives it back to him. And then Hadiya pick it up again. They've got the numbers. This chip by Joreje, not very well advised. Tries to get the ball onto the left side. At the same time, he wants to put in a little of energy on it to beat the goalkeeper. Mariam Shanko, the end of it all is it doesn't get to anyone, Gilbert.
Absolutely. Defend well, but again, the transition really getting Hadiya Hossana down.
Going to bring it onto the right side. Oh, too much Gulbat on that one. Too much energy on it. So much so that it goes. The field of play is going to be a throw-in that will be given to the Hadiya Hossana side. This is Dr. Eyasu Merhesedik. The assistant coach paid glowing tribute to his predecessor, Ashinafi Bekele, for building the team. And this is cleared off by the big man in defense. The captain himself, our feature, sends it out. Jureje is also being part of the defense there. Now, they were earlier on claiming a handball here, but it hits onto the chest of our feature. Absolutely not anywhere near the hand. The fans would have thought that this is going to be given to them, and then they stop short of applauding it. That's always the mixed emotions that come with something like that. And we go into the second water break in this game. The one for the second half, Gilbert. How would you say it has been played in the second half?
Well, I think it's just a bit of tactics, because Hadiya Hossana are sitting very close to the 80-yard line. Very, very close, playing what we call a block. And therefore, they've clearly ensured that Ethiopia Buna are not giving those penetration passes. On the counter, they've tried to play the long passes, but they are not getting the intended target. And you look at the attack
Kofi
analysis.
have distributed it. Kofi have distributed it in all the three sides, left, right, and center. But Hossana is trying very much on the right side and on the center alone. They're not using the left side now.
Absolutely, they're not using the left side. I think the left side has been used to, as part of their defense, because they're dropping back when they lose possession, but the quick counterattacks have not really hit the targeted person, and that is Dawa Hossana.
Well, they'll have to try and get him in the middle. It forms part of the 50% they're having in the middle there. Maybe just want to change the tact a little bit in these few minutes that are remaining here. We've got 18 minutes and a couple of seconds remaining. It's a lot of time in a game of football, but when it's 1-1, it can provide for a painful loss for one of the teams, or a very, very joyful gain for one of them. And that's what we probably expect to see with the 19 minutes remaining. Lieutenant Fikado Mamo on the left of your side, the CEO of the Ethiopian Premier League, and then Geza Nwolde, the CEO of Ethiopia Coffee as well, watching this very closely. We've seen the Federation officials, of course, being here present, especially in the trophy handover ceremony for the Fasil side and in the consequent game that they played. But they've strung up a very good league format, and I've been able to return their football to playing the full league. This is the 147th match now. You're one of the lucky people who've had a chance to watch it live on your World of Champions Supersport. It's been coming to you live from the venues in Addis Ababa, in Jima, in Bahar Dar, and in Dire, and now in Awasa. So after this one, we'll be playing the last 6 matches. The last 12 matches, I beg your pardon. It's a good one down on the right side. We'll be playing the last 6 matches, I should be telling you, as we come towards the end of it now. There's a lot of support for the Hadiya Hossana side, would you believe it, Gilbert?
Absolutely.
In the field as well.
Yeah, I mean, no one expected them to give this kind of a performance.
Yeah, but you didn't expect as well for the Ferns to turn to the Hadiya side.
They could
the
be
Buna
fine.
side would be the favorites here, with Abu Bakr's bringing it A cross goal to Mikias Mekoden, who then tries again to push it through instead of taking a shot. And I think the fans are not very happy with that kind of shot. This would have been a good chance for them to actually shoot either from there or from here, instead of trying to push it again into the center there, where there's a maze of people there.
Yeah, I mean, Abubakar has done literally everything and bringing the ball right in the path of Mikias Mekonnen. He should have taken a drive at that particular instance.
Well then, a long ball intended for Abubakar. Nasser is beaten the trapper. He's got the goalkeeper rounded up, and Abubakar Nasser scores again. 74th minute goal by Abubakar Nasser. And the fans, who are a little bit unhappy about a move earlier on, are now ecstatic about that move. Well, they just spot him in very good time. He's onside behind the defender, and he knows he can take him for speed. One control, Gilbert. Lovely placing with the inside of the boot.
It's all about space. Once you give him that kind of space and he gets in front of you, he looks up for one moment, he knows the keeper is covering one post and picks the other post, and that's a mark of a prolific goal scorer, no doubt about that.
Oh, you can say that twice, 3 times. Abubakar Nasser with his 29th goal of the season. And he's got to beat the record by far. And he's got to set one that, again, will take long for anyone else to beat. He's on target. The scoreline has changed. 29 goals this season. 2-1 for Ethiopia Coffee. 75th and 2nd minute. It's going to be a free kick here. Hadiya will find it hard to recover from that one, because now they'll have to try and defend this one, Gilbert. They'll have to stay in their line to make sure they don't concede again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at the same time, they have to push men forward just to try and see whether they can be able to amend the mistake that has just happened a few minutes ago.
Well, Enoch Alficho is the captain of the Hadiya side and will be taking this free kick on his left boot. Curves it close to Tekle Mariam Shanko, who has taken it. He wants to stay down, but realizes he needs to start up quickly. They're chasing very many things, the Ethiopia Buna side. If they get Abubakar Nasser to the ball again and he scores, he will have scored his 2nd hat-trick in 2 matches. And he already has 4 hat-tricks. And he scored another one just in the recent game they played. And he's already increased his tally of goals, of course, to 29. Has beaten the Ethiopian Premier League record. And obviously is setting a new record for the club as well. So many things being chased by the Ethiopia Buna side in one match.
I'm telling you, Bernard, having followed the games, about 140...
This is the 147th.
47 matches. If there is any player who will be able to break Abubakar's record in the near future, is Abubakar Nasser.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the only one who can be able to break his record. Look at the way he went through that one
behind the defenders and easily takes on Kele Abubshet with speed alone. The fans were initially unhappy about that early move, and finally it hits them with a lot of surprise on how he puts that ball into the net. The reaction is priceless. Yeah, we agree. I mean, look, we are not taking it away from you. Oh, yes. It's a massively big celebration for the Ethiopia Coffee fans. A big celebration for Ethiopian football, to be honest, with the kind of prowess that they've got in Abubakar Nasser. Obviously, a first-choice striker for the national team. And still very young enough to be able to play in the team for a long time. This is going to be a free kick for Ethiopia Buna. Going to come from the right side of Mentesinot Kebede. Obviously, the CEO of the side is a very happy man now. And they'll be discussing it in very animated tones at the side stand. Gezahen Walder is the CEO of the club. This is stopped very nicely by Bebe Tilahun. And a quick change onto the left side by Haile Gabriel Tinsei. Mulatu wants to get onto it, but Asrat Tunjo is the faster one. Pushes it onto the left side to Abubakar Nasser. So after scoring the 2 goals, he wants to turn provider as well. And that's how he keeps the attention away from himself until the time when he's running into position. Tries to get a little ball through for Asrat Tunjo. They will be relying on the counter-attack on the Hadiya side, and Desta Wamushi is the man who has it. Intestinate Kebede spots are very free Mikias Mekonen, who then spots are very free William Solomon on the left side. Keeps it in play, William Solomon. Wants to take on Kalea Bubshet. Abubakar Nasser. And this is Professor Solomon who brings it out to the right side. Tinsei just pushes it back into the midfield. This would be enjoyable for the Ethiopia Coffee Ferns at about this time when they're leading the game. But then there's also those anxious moments of whether or not this game will end like this, or whether it can be tied by the Hadiya side who are preparing a substitution. But they've got the bragging rights and they can enjoy themselves a little. Again, this is pushed to for Abubakar Nasser. An easy take by Yared Bugale this time round. Doesn't worry about it at all.
Well, he started finding space right behind the Hadiya defense line, and he's really enjoying the moment.
Yeah, but he's forcing Bugale as well to come out. That was an easy take by Bugale. On one hand, just showing him that as soon as it comes to me, I have things to do with it as well. Dula Mulatu. And then pushed down to the right side, that's offside. And Daro Tessa was camping on that side. And the assistant says, yeah, you got caught fair and square on that one. Quick instructions coming from Dr. Iyasu Mesedek. Although a substitution has been made. And they've brought in Dick Nekebede, Gilbert.
Yeah, in place of Desta Wamushi. I think he's really given his all, the youngster. I think just trying to rejig that forward line, see whether Dinkna Kebede can be able at least to add some meaningful punch up front.
Well, Destro at least will go out with these 2 goals in the season as a substitute in this one. And Dinkna Kebede has not scored for the side. He's playing his 4th match now. Played 181 minutes. As it stands at the moment, Kofi will go to 40 points. The goal difference will be plus 15 now. That will leave Hadiya in the 5th position with the same number of points they had at 35 and a plus 6 goal difference. So in the game of football, the points are the ones that push you ahead. So Sebeta will still be ahead of Hadiya because they've got 36 points. The goal difference of plus 2. They've just scored more and conceded more as well. Abubakar Nasser ran away with a match ball in the last game that they played against Sidama, salvaging their quest to be in the 2nd position by scoring all 3 goals. So big good that sends it up forward. Joreje doesn't get onto it. He's got the shorter man, Professor Solomon, winning it on the ground. Looks like they're making ready a substitution just at the bottom left of your picture there, with Fikri Jesus Birhan preparing, and Jabi Kalfareja I think as well preparing. So Solomon gets it back to Abubakar Nasser. He's got the big men to take care of. Solomon has gotten into the correct position, has gone for a shot as well. Just veers off target. Yeah, he could have sprayed it out on the right as well. And apologizes to Mikias Bekored, who was open on the right side. But a good run all the same, Gilbert.
Yeah, and of course Abubakar involved in that build-up. The little Solomon should have hit that ball better. I think with better technique, he should be scoring his 2nd goal of the league.
I should have been looking at where to take it to. The first substitution is going to be Mikias Mekonen making way for Fikri Jesus. Birhan. And then two other men will be exchanging the places. Fikresus Birhan and Mikias Mekonen. And then there is Yabikal Fareja as well. And as for Tunjo, who has also gone off the field of play. So in effect what we are having is two midfielders coming in for one defender and one forward. Solidify the midfield, push up at the front, with the two, of course, being able to fall back into defense every time when the ball will be coming in that direction. I think that's the plan, Gilbert. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they've also realized that Hadiya only attacking with one player. So I think there's going to be a change of tact, play with the back three and try to move more men into the midfield.
Two midfielders in that game then. For the Ethiopia Buna side. It's just an indication as well that they want to protect what they have, not lose it, and then gain anything else they can get up at the front. Good ball right down on the right side. Coming for a cross, not very well done by Dinkne Kebede, but he gets a corner for his troubles. Dr. Yasu Mesedik very pensive in whether or not they'll pick a point out of this one. The prize money will be awarded, of course, according to your placing on the log as well. And Hadiya are in a 5th position. They can't go lower than that, but they wouldn't mind finishing either in 4th as well or 3rd. This was a chance for them to probably get into 2nd as well. The header just cut off by the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, Tekla Mariam Shanko, has got very, very good sight on that Bereket header. And Walter Yanis will be thinking about where else he could have been placing it. It almost looked like a handball, you know. Yeah, it's a good header. It's a hand that comes from nowhere, but there's a defender behind him as well who's lifting up the hand. But that is good Tekla Mariam Shanko goalkeeping.
Absolutely, and he has about 4 yellow shirts covering him just in case he makes a mistake.
Including Gabret Tinsey, who was standing right behind him, denying Bereket Walde Yoadis a chance to level the scores here. 86th minute of the game. Maintaining the same tact in defense and midfield, but then often looking forward for quick breaks. The Ethiopia Buna side have had their technique working perfectly for them today. There's a chance down on the right side, trying to sneak it in for William Solomon. It's rolled onto the right side, William Solomon. And some help comes in for Dara Tessa. Jereje just pushes it too far and loses possession. It's an easy pick here. Very easily taken by Fikri Jesus Birhan. Spoils what would have been a good run up for the Hadiya Hossana side. Long ball down on the right side. William is finding the spaces on that side, but the captain Al-Feature takes it away from him. Tafese Solomon. This is picked up by Haile Gabriel. It's going to be another substitution here. And yeah, now bringing in Nathaniel Herego. First game of the season for Nathaniel. It's going to be given about 2.5 minutes to play here. Just getting him onto playing time as well. So that means the only other person who hasn't gotten a taste of it on the Hadiya Hossana side is Shetu Girma. He hasn't played any games yet. If it's just a question of getting them there, then Ndalia Baine, whose contribution has been minimal in there, is the one who has been substituted. What do you make, Gilbert, of that?
Well, I think just giving some playing time to the players who've not done duty for this Hadiya side.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Just to give him play time, not really. As a defender, I don't know how much he can do of defending at the moment, and whether that would be the right tact for Nathaniel Herego. And to get out a forward, it means you want to protect what you have at the moment, but what you have is working against you. So it's a little bit of a surprise substitution, and I think it's just intended to get Terego into the game. Emmanuel Johannes plays it out to the right side. And a big put to the center, with Tafesa Solomon taking it. William Solomon could easily, if he was scoring, could easily be the man of the match in this game. But I tell you, scoring sometimes gets you, the accolades and gets you noticed very easily. But William Solomon brought in the assist that got Abubakar Nasser to scoring the first goal. That's him on the ball. Brings it out to the right side to Tafesa Solomon. Gets a return ball as well. Oh, lovely little play from William Solomon on the right side. Chips it. Not too hard again. The goalkeeper is quick off his feet to push it away. Albeit struggling a little to get into the frame of Tafesa. No, Haptamu Tadese rather. And Haptamu tries a flying kick in there. Leaves the fans already expecting a third goal, but then wondering how that one did not get into the net. But the delight on their faces says it all, Gilbert. They love what they're seeing.
Yeah, that little step over by the little Solomon, just spicing up the day for the Ethiopia Buna side.
You might be little, but if you're doing good step overs like that, you become a very big player. The little title gets away from you.
Yeah.
For Dula Mulatu, remains little today.
He's worked hard.
Yes.
He's
really worked hard, yeah. You're right about that. He's one man who's able to roll back into defense as well in the right back position. That's him again, cutting this one out. Joreje tries to get into it. There's going to be a foul that will be given to the Hadiya side. 4 minutes after regular time. 2 goals for Ethiopia Buna. 1 for Hadiya. I tell you, this is still very close with Hadiya getting a free kick. Yellow card for time wasting and trying to change the rules here. The ball's going to be taken from here, and you decide you're pushing it away. Referee doesn't like what Fikri Jesus was doing. He's come in the 83rd minute. He's already gotten a yellow card in the 90th minute, just 7 minutes after. There are other people who've been playing for the 90 minutes. They haven't gotten anything. So sometimes as a player you should ask yourself, why would you want to do that in the few minutes you've been given to play in this game? It's going to come from Arficho on the left side, on his left boot as well, into the hands of Tekle Mariam Shanko. It doesn't have the power, but it's accurate on target.
It doesn't have the power, and Otesa knows that he should have buried that one. No one is challenging him, and with good height onto his side, he really does not put power behind that ball, and Shanko says thank you.
He flung himself too high up. He couldn't be able to, angle it down again. Sometimes you angle yourself closer to the ball and in a shorter distance. This is again going to be signaled out for a foul here. The yellow card to Jareje as well for just bad mouthing the referee. The Hadiya side feeling like they've been unfairly treated. The yellow card has been given to Jareje.
Well, he's also given a solid performance as a holding midfielder, breaking down a lot of attack.
This is the reason why they're complaining. I think it's a handball call there. It's not offside, it's a handball call. And that's why Jareje is complaining that that's not a fair one. For the St. George fans, they're happy about it. But that call was for handball. The ball comes off. For the Ethiopia Buna side, it was a handball there for Hadiya, and that's why Ethiopia Kofi is complaining about it. The Hadiya side are complaining about it.
Yeah, they're complaining. I think that the linesman on the far end, Mohammed Hussein, actually had his flag down. But the referee was on spot just to make that adjustment.
Playing the 93rd minute of the game here. Jareje gets himself unnecessarily yellow carded. Go into the center with William Solomon again dancing his way over the ball, just making it an interesting time for Ethiopia Coffee. This is still rolling on the line here. I think the whole circumference of the ball that must have crossed the line. It's going to be kick here. I think the referee must have seen it in a different light altogether.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Georgia was livid about it. But you and I see it twice. The referee sees it only once. Called it in for a handball because there was no offside there. And they felt a little bit unfairly treated in that one. This is going to go to the left side. It's a confirmation of the yellow card on Georgia. Again, Hadiya pick up the loose ball. We're playing just a couple of seconds more in added time here. And Hadiya have the advantage of having possession. But Ethiopia Buna have the advantage of having one goal above the Hadiya side and the Ethiopia Coffee side, solidifying their chance of remaining second, going all the way to 40 points with 3 points that they take today. And that means that Hadiya will be confined to 35 down there until their very last match, and have to see what the other teams are going to play. But to only try and now get to 39, which means they can't be in the second position. And this was very clear from the onset that whoever was going to lose today was going to be taken off the grid for the second position. Abubakar Nasser scoring the first goal in the second minute of the game, much to the delight of the officials of the club here. Then Tessa Wamushi put through by a very hard-working Dara Tessa, reacts from the closest of shots to put the ball in the net for 2-1 at that time, and then the best one then coming from that chip over the goalkeeper by Abubakar Nasser, scoring all the 2 goals in today's game and exciting the fans at the stadium. Coffee are solidly remaining in contention for the second place after Hossana 1 and Coffee 2 at full time from the Hawassa University Stadium.
ክቡራን ተመልካቾቻችን 25ኛው ሳምንት የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የአቡበከር ናስር የጎል ሪከርድ ከ27 ወደ 29 ከፍ ያለበት ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሀዲያ ሆሳናን በማሸነፍ ለኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ ሁለተኝነት የተሻለ ደረጃ ያገኘበት ጨዋታ ላይ ተጠናቋል። የጨዋታ በ25ኛው ሳምንት የከሰዓት የመጨረሻ ጨዋታ ነበር። በጨዋታው ኢትዮጵያ ቡና በሁለተኛው ደቂቃ አቡበከር ናስር ባስቆጠረው ጎል መምራት ችሎ ነበር። ደስታ ዋሚሾ በሀዲያ ሆሳና በኩል ደግሞ 1-1 መሆን ችሎ ነበር። ከዛ በኋላ አቡበከር ናስር በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ ሌላ ጎል አስቆጥሮ 2-1 በማሸነፍ ለሁለተኝነት በሚያደርጉት ትንቅንቅ ላይ ወሳኙን 3 ነጥብ እንዲያገኙ ምክንያት ሆኗል። ከጨዋታ በኋላ የሀዲያ ሆሳና አሰልጣኝ ኢያሱ መርሃ ጽድቅ ጋር ቆይታ የምናደርግ ይሆናል። አሰልጣኝ ኢያሱ ከጨዋታ በፊት የጠበቀውና በጨዋታው ላይ የተመለከተው ነገር ልዩነት ነበረው? እንዴ ነበር ጨዋታው?
የተወሰነ መጀመሪያ ላይ ልጆች የሰጣቸውን ነገር ተግባራዊ ሲያደርጉ የተወሰነ ደግሞ ትንሽ ወጣ የማድረግ ነገር ዋጋ አስከፍሎን የመጀመሪያው ጎል ገባ። ከዛ በተረፈ ግን መስራት የሚገባቸውን አንዳንዴም ከሚገባቸው በላይ ልጆቹ ሰርተዋል። ማመስገን ነው የሚጠበቀው።
ከጨዋታው በፊት የአቡበከር ናስር የማጥቃት እንቅስቃሴ በቡድን ለመከላከል እንደምትሞክሩ ነግረህ ነበርና በጨዋታው ላይ ያየኸው ምንድነው?
ይሄ ምንም ግልጽ ነው። አቡበከር ናስር ተጽዕኖ ፈጣሪ ተጫዋች ነው። በግሉ የሚጥራቸው ብዙ ጥሩ ነገሮች አሉ። ከጓደኞቹም ጋር ሆኖ አለ። ስለዚህ እንደ አጠቃላይ እንደ ቲም ለማቆም ቅሉ ነበረን፣ ግን በተወሰነ መልኩ አልተሳካልንም። ልጁ ውጤታማ ሆኗል። እንደ ቲም ቡድኑም አሸናፊ ሆኗል። እንኳን ደስ ያላችሁ ማለት እፈልጋለሁ። ጥሩ ነበሩ። ኳሱም ተቆጣጥረውታል። ያ ግልጽ ነበረ ሲጀመርም።
ከሀዲያ ሆሳና ጋር ሙሉ የውድድር ዘመኑን አሳልፈዋልና እንደጀመረበት ሀዲያ ሆሳና የጨረሰበት ቦታ ተገቢ ነው ብለህ ታስባለህ? አመቱ እንዴት ነው የምታጠቃልለው?
አላለቀም። አንድ ጨዋታ ይቀራል። የትኛው ደረጃን ይዘን እንደምናውቅ እንደምንጨርስ አላወቅ ነው። ግን ስንጀምርም ደረጃ ውስጥ ይዘን ለመጨረስ ነበር እቅዳችን። አሁንም ደረጃ ውስጥ ነው ያለነው፣ አራቅ ነው። ስለዚህ በተለይ ካየ አሁን ካለብን አንዳንድ የውስጥ ችግሮች አንጻር ወጣ ገባ ነበረው እንጂ አሁን ላይ እዚህ ላይ እየተገበርን ያለነውን ነገር ወይም ወደዚህ ስንመጣ የነበረን ጥሩ ነገር አዲስ አበባ ላይ መጀመሪያ ፐርፎርም በመናረገው ልክ ነበረ። ስለዚህ መልካም ነው። በጠበቅነው በደረጃው ዝም ብለን ደረጃውን ብቻ ካየን በጠበቅነው ልክ ነው ያለነው ብለን መናገር እንችላለን።
ደስታው የሚሾው ዛሬም ጎል አስቆጥሯል። በወጣቶች ደስተኛ ነህ?
በሚገባ
ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ።
እናመሰግናለን።
ክቡራን ተመልካቾቻችን በዛሬው የ25ኛ ሳምንት የመጨረሻ ጨዋታ 3 ጎሎችን የተመለከትንበት ሆኖ አልፏል። ዛሬ በአጠቃላይ በሁለቱ ጨዋታዎች 8 ጎሎችን ተመልክተናል። ሲዳማ ቡና ጅማ አባጅፋርን 4-1 ሲያሸንፍ ኦኪኬ ኦፎላቤ ያስቆጠራቸው 3 የ25ኛው ሳምንት የመጀመሪያ 3 ሆኖ ተመዝግቧል። ዛሬ ጎል የተንበሸበሸበትን ቀን አሳልፈናል። ከኢትዮጵያ ቡና ዋና አሰልጣኝ ካሳይ አራጌ ጋር ቆይታ የምናደርግ ይሆናል። አሰልጣኝ ካሳይ ከጨዋታው በፊት የዚህን ጨዋታ ወሳኝነት አንስተ ነበር። በሜዳ ላይ የነበረው ነገር ከውጤቱን ከእንቅስቃሴው ማኳያ በፈለከው መንገድ ይሄድ ነበር?
ጥሩ ነው የነበረው ነገር የገመትናቸው ነገሮች ነበሩ። ከነሱ የስነ ልቦና ዝግጅት አንፃር አንደኛ ጊዮርጊስን አሸንፈው ነው የመጡት። ከዛ አንፃር እነሱ ጋር የሚኖር የስነ ልቦና ዝግጅት ይኖራል። ሁለተኛ እነሱም ለሁለተኝነት እድል የነበረው ቲም ነው። ስለዚህ ለሁለተኝነት እድል ያለው ቲም ያው ለማግባት መጫወት አለበት። እንደገና ደግሞ ለኛ ቲም የሚሰጡት ግምት አለ። ስለዚህ ከነዚህ ስነ ልቦና አንፃር የትኛው ላይ ያርፋሉ የሚለው ነገር እርግጠኛ ስላልሆነ ቡድናችን በሶስቱም በኩል አመጣጣቸው ከዛ አንፃር የተቃኘ ስለሚሆን በሶስቱም በኩል የኛም ልጆች በስነ ልቦና እንዲዘጋጁ ያንን ነበር ያደረግነው። ባንዱ በገመት ነው መጥተዋል። ከሶስቱ የኛ ልጆች የነበረው ምላሽ ጥሩ ነው።
በመጀመሪያው አጋማሽ በተከላካዮች በኩል ረጃጅም ኳሶች ይላኩ ነበር። ለስተትም የተጋለጠው ጎልም የተቆጠረው በዛ ምክንያት ነው። ከዛ አኳያ ስተቶች የተቀረፉ ነው የሚል ሐሳብ አለ በተከላካዮች በኩል?
ራሱ ጨዋታው ራሱ ስተቶችን በቀላሉ ለማየት እድል የሚሰጥ አንዳንድ ጊዜ ስተቶቹ ጎልተው የሚነገሩት ጨዋታው ራሱ ግልጽ የሆነ ነገር ስተቶችን በቀላሉ ለማየት ሂደቶችን በቀላሉ ለማየት የሚጋብዝ በመሆኑ ነው። ያ ታሳቢ መሆን አለበት። አሁን ለምሳሌ የመጀመሪያው ጎል የገባብን የኛ ኳስ ነው። አማኑኤል ኳሷን ኮንትሮል ለማድረግ ሲል ከእግሩ ያመለጠች ኳስ ነች። ያው በምንጫወትበት ጊዜ መክፈት ግድ ነው የኳስ ባለቤት ስለሆነ በዛ አጋጣሚ የተገኘ ነው። ግን እንደዛ አይነት ነገሮች ሲፈጠሩ ሁሉ ጊዜ የምንለው ነገር የትም ቦታ ላይ ያለ ሰው ቶሎ ኤሪያውን የማጥበብ ነው። እዛ ላይ ትንሽ ሌት የመሆን ነገር ነበርና ብዙ በከፈትናቸው ክፍተቶች ያን ያህል ተጠቃሚ ነበሩ ብዬ አላስብም።
የአፍሪካ ኮንፌዴሬሽን ዋንጫ ተካፋይ ለመሆን ጫፍ ደርሳችኋልና ያንን ታስባለህ? ቡድንህን እንቅስቃሴውን ስትመለከት?
ያው ሁሉ ጊዜ ቡና ለሻምፒዮና የሚጫወት ቲም ነው። እሱን ታሳቢ አድርገን ሁሉ ጊዜ እዛ ደረጃ ውስጥ ለመገኘት ነው ጥረት የምናደርገው። ያ ደግሞ ያው በራሱ ለኮንፌዴሬሽን ለተባለውም ለሌላውም ውድድር ይዞ ይሄዳልና ሁሉ ጊዜ ግን ከዛ ውስጥ ላለመጥፋት ነው የምንፈልገው። እዚህ በሚኖረው ደረጃ ውስጥ በሻምፒዮንነት ሁሌ ለዛ የሚጫወት ቲም ነው። ያንን አሰብክ ማለት ደግሞ ከዛ ጋር ተያያዥ ያላቸው ውድድሮች ለመግባት ሐሳቡ አለ ማለት ነው።
ሶስት ተጫዋቾችን በውድድር ዘመኑ ኮከብ አሰልጣኞች የመረጡ ነው። የአሰልጣኝ ካሳይን ማወቅ እንችላለን?
መርጫለሁ።
እነማን እንደሆኑ ማወቅ ማለት ነው?
የመረጥኩት አቡኪ፣ አቤል እና ሽመክት።
አቤል የትኛው?
ግብ ጠባቂው።
ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ።
እኔም አመሰግናለሁ።
ክቡራን ተመልካቾቻችን የኢትዮጵያ ቡና አሰልጣኝ ካሳይ አራጌ የውድድር ዘመን ምርጣቸውን እነማን እንደሆኑ አሳውቀዋል። በ10 ሙከራዎች ዛሬ 4 ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ሙከራዎች በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል ነበሩ። ከነዚህ መካከል 2ቱ ጎል ሆነው ተቆጥረዋል። ሀዲያ ሆሳና ደግሞ 9 ሞክረው 6 ኢላማቸውን የጠበቁ ነበሩ። 29 ጥፋቶች ተሰርተዋል። 4 ቢጫ ካርዶች። በአጠቃላይ በኳስ ቁጥጥር 75 ከመቶ ኢትዮጵያ ቡና፣ 25 ከመቶ ሀዲያ ሆሳና በጨዋታው የኳስ ቁጥጥር የበላይነት ነበራቸው። በኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የአንድ ውድድር ዘመን ኮከብ ግብ አግቢነትን በ29 ጎሎች ዛሬ የደረሰው አቡበከር ናስር ጋር ሱፐር ስፖርት ቆይታ የሚያደርግ ይሆናል። ከጨዋታው በፊት 27 የሚል ቲሸርት ለብሰው የቡድን ጓደኞችህ በተለየ ክብር ነበር የገባው። ያ የተለየ ሞራል ሰጥቷል?
እኔ ምንም እንደዚህ አልጠበቅኩም ነበር። ምክንያቱም ያው እንደዚህ እኔ እንጃ እኔ በጣም ግን ደስ ብሎኝ ነበር። ውስጥ መልበሻ ቤት ውስጥ ነው እንደዚህ አይነት ነገር መኖሩን ያወቅኩት። እኔ በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል። ተጫዋቾቹም ጓደኞቼም በጣም አመሰግናለሁ።
በጨዋታው ደግሞ 28ኛና 29ኛ ጎል አስቆጥራል። ጨዋታውስ እንዴት ነበር? ከብዶ ነበር? ሜዳ ውስጥ እንዴት ነበር?
እኔ ዛሬ በጣም ጨዋታው ከብዶ ነበር። ምክንያቱም ትንሽ አሞኝ ነበር እና ሜዳው ራሱ በጣም ደረቅ ነው። የሚመለከተው አካል ራሱ ምንም ሊያስብበት ይገባል። ሜዳው በጣም ከባድ ነው ግን ለኛም ከባድ ስለነበረ ጫና ውስጥም ስለነበረ ውጤቱ በግድ ያስፈልገን ስለነበር አላህ ብሎ አሳክተናል
29ኛውን ጎል የሰጠ ኳሱን የሰጠ ታፈሰ ነው በውድድር ዘመኑ 29 ጎል ታገባለህ ብሎ ይነበር ብለሃልና ተገጣጥሞባል
በቃ እኔ ጭንቀት ውስጥ ስለነበር አሁን አስታውስከኝና ግን ብሎ ይነበር 29 ጎል ታገባለህ ብሎ ገና ዝግጅት ላይ ነበር ሲል የነበረውና ታፈሰንም በዚህ አጋጣሚ ማመስገን ፈልጋል
አንድ ጨዋታ ካዳማ ጋር አላችሁ ባንተ ግምት ምን ያህል ጎል አቆማል ብለህ ታስባለህ
ያው ኢንሻአላህ ካላጋ ያው ብዙ ሰዎች 30 ምናምን ይያሉ ነበር ያው ኮቾች ምንም ብዙ በቃ የስፖርት አካል 30 ምናምን ብሎ ነበርና ኢንሻአላህ ከቀጣይ ጌም ወይ ከዛ ይበልጣል ያው አላህ ነው የሚያውቀው
በግል ጥረት ወይስ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና እንቅስቃሴ ነው ብዙ ጎሎችን ያስቆጠርከው
አይ ይሄማ በእንቅስቃሴውና በጓደኞቼ ጥረት ነው እንጂ ያው ብቻዬ ምንም መፈጥረው ነገር የለም ያው ጓደኞቼ በሚያደርጉልኝ የሚሰጡኝ ኳስ ነው እንደዚህ ያገባውትና በጣም ማመስገን ፈልጋለሁ ሙሉ ኮች ስታፉንም ይሁን ሁሉንም የስፖርተኛም ተጫዋቾችም ሁሉንም ስለ የቡና እንትን የሚሉትን ሁሉንም ማመስገን ፈልጋለሁ
እንግዲህ ለአፍሪካ ክለቦች ውድድር በኮንፌዴሬሽን ዋንጫ ጫፍ ደርሳችኋል የዛሬው ድል ያንን የሚያመላክት ነው ያንን ታሳቢ ታደርጋለህ በክለቦች ውድድር ላይ መሳተፍን
አዎ እኛ በቃ በመጀመሪያ ስንነሳ ለዋንጫ ነበረ ሲቀጥል ግን ሁለተኛ ሆነን ነው በቃ ልንጨርስ ያሰብነውና አሁን በቃ ቀጣይ ጌም ነው አቻ ይበቃናል ግን እኛ ቀጣይም ለማሸነፍ ነው የምንገባው አዳማም አሪፍ ቲም ነው ቀጣይ ያው የተሻለ ነገር ለማምጣት እንጥራለን
ከልብ
አመሰግናለሁ
አቡበከር ናስር ከሱፐር ስፖርት ጋር ቆይታ አድርጓል 28ኛና 29ኛ የሊግ ጎል ማስቆጠር ችሏል በአንድ የውድድር ዘመን 2013 የውድድር ዓመት ሲጀመር 25 ጎሎችን በማስቆጠር ጌታነህ ከበደ በ2009 የያዘውን ሪከርድ ነበር እስካሁን ድረስ በፕሪሚየር ሊጉ ትልቁ ሪከርድ የነበረው 4 የውድድር ዘመናት በኋላ ደግሞ 2013 ላይ አቡበከር ናስር ያንን ሪከርድ ማለፍ ችሏል በመጨረሻው ጨዋታ ላይ ያስቆጠረው 3 ሲዳማ ቡና ላይ 27 ጎሎች ላይ እንዲቆም አድርጎት ነበር ዛሬ ደግሞ 28ኛና 29ኛ ጎሉን እንዲያስቆጥር ምክንያት ሆኗል የኢትዮጵያ ቡና አሸናፊነት ጎሎች ነበሩ ሁለቱም ኳሶች በሃዲያ ሆሳና በኩል 8 በኢትዮጵያ ቡና በኩል 12 የማጥቃት ሂደቶች ነበሩ ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ አቡበከር አስቆጥሯል ጥያቄዎች የሚመጡት እንግዲህ ቀጣዩ ነገር ምንድነው እንደሚለው ነው አሰልጣኝ ወጥ
አቡበከር እንዳየው ነው እንግዲህ በየጨዋታው ጎል ያስቆጠረ ነው ዛሬም ለሃትሪክ የቀረበ ጎል አግብቷል ቡድኑንም ወደ አፍሪካ መድረክ ለመውሰድ ኦልሞስት ጫፍ ላይ ደርሷል በቀጣይ ጨዋታ ላይ ይሄንን ነገር ያስከትላል ብዬ ነው የምጠብቀው
ሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ላይ ከመስመር እየተነሳ ነበር የሚጫወተው ከዛ በፊት ወደ 60 ደቂቃዎች አካባቢ የመሃል አጥቂ ሆኖ ነበር በብሔራዊ ቡድንስ እንዴት ነው የምታስበው መሃል ቢጫወት ነው የሚሻለው መሃል አጥቂ ሆኖ ወይስ መስመር
ልጁ የትኛውን ቦታ ላይ መጫወት ይችላል አሁን ግን እየተጫወተ ያለበት ቦታ በኮንፈርት እየተጫወተ ነው ያለው እኛ ጋር በመስመር አጥቂነት ነው እየተጫወተ የነበረው ሁለቱም ጋር ቢጫወት ግን ልጁ ኳሊቲ እንዳለ ነው
እስኪ በጨዋታው ላይ የነበረውን እንቅስቃሴ እንመልከት ከጨዋታው መግቢያ በፊት ለአቡበከር ናስር 27 ጎሎች መታሰቢያ የተለየ ቲሸርት አድርገው ነበር የኢትዮጵያ ቡና ተጫዋቾች የገቡት ገና በሁለተኛው ደቂቃ በምንመለከተው የኳስ እንቅስቃሴ 28ኛ የሊጉን ጎል አስቆጥሯል እንቅስቃሴው ምን ይነግረናል አሰልጣኝ ውበቱ
ያው ጀስት እዚህ ጋር እንዳየው ከፋስት ብሬክ እዛው ነው ነጥቀው በትራንዚሽን ነው ያገቡት በቁጥሩም ብዙ ነበር እንደምትመለከተው 5 የቡና ተጫዋቾች ፔናልቲ ውስጥ ይገኙ ነበር ከዊሊያም ጥሩ ኳስ ነው የተሻገረላቸው ስለዚህ
ይህንን ኳስ ያቀበለው ዊሊያም ሰለሞን ነው ሜዳ ውስጥ ከነበሩ በጣም አጭር ቀጭን ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው የተለየ እንቅስቃሴም ሲያደርግ ነበር ስለሱ ምን አስተያየት አለ
ዊሊያምም ሆነ ሌሎች የኛ ሀገር ተጫዋቾች ፊዚካሊ ትንሽ ደቀቅ ያልናል በአብዛኛው ዋናው ነገር ግን ከኳስ ጋራ ለኳሱ የሚያስፈልገው ስትሬንግዝ ግን ያስፈልጋል ለምሳሌ አሁን ዊሊያም ቀጭን ነው እንጂ ዝም ብለ መተህ የምትሰብረው አይነት መተህ እንትን የምታደርገው አይነት ልጅ አይደለም ኳስንም በምቾት መጫወት የሚችል ልጅ ነው ስለዚህ ማተር ያደርጋል ብዬ አላስብም ቁመት
ደስታ ዋሚሾ ከ20 ዓመት ቡድን ካደጉ ተጫዋቾች መካከል አንዱ ነው የሃዲያ ሆሳናን የአቻነት ጎል ያስቆጠረውም እሱ ነው በዚህ የጨዋታ እንቅስቃሴ ላይ ግን በጣም ወሳኙን ሚና የተጫወተው የቡድኑ የውድድር ዘመኑ ድንቅ እንቅስቃሴ እያደረገ የሚገኘው ዳዋ ሁጤሳ ነው
ዳዋን እንዳይኸው በዛሬ ጨዋታ ብቻ አይደለም ባለፉት 2-3 ጨዋታዎችም ላይ ካየ 90 ደቂቃ መጨረሱ ራሱ እስክትጠራጠር ድረስ ያለውን ነገር ነው ለቡድኑ ሲከፍል የምታየው ምናልባት ከ60 ከ70 ደቂቃ በኋላ ሊወጣ ሁሉ ይችላል ብለ እንድታስብ የሚያደርግ እንቅስቃሴ ነው የሚያደርገው ዛሬም ቡድኑን ነጥብ ይዞ እንዲወጣ ብዙ ነገር ሲከፍል ነው ያየ ነው አሲስት በማድረጉም በማግባቱ ለሀዲያ የቁርጥ ቀን ልጅ ነው ማለት ነው።
በዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ላይ ከዳዋ በፊት ዱላ ሙላቱ ኳሱ መጥቶ ነበርና የተክለማርያምን ጥረት አለማድረግ ምናልባት ንፉግነት እንዳይሆን በሱ ላይ ምን አስተያየት አለ?
ተክለማርያም ዛሬ ሁለት ለጎል የቀረቡ ኳሶችን በጥሩ ሁኔታ ሴቭ አድርጓል ማለት ይቻላል። ይሄኛውም የገባው ኳስ ኦልሞስት ከ5 ሜትር በታች የሆነ ኳስ ነው። ያንን ለመቆጣጠር ጥረት አድርጓል፣ ግን ከአቅሙ በላይ የገባ ኳስ ነው። በዚህኛው እንቅስቃሴ ካየው ደግሞ የራሱን እንትን ለማድረግ ሞክሯል። እንዲሁ ከረፍት በኋላ በሄዲንግ የተገጨው ኳስ ለጥቂት ግብ ከመሆን ያዳነው ጥሩ መንቀሳቀስ ችሏል።
በሁለተኛው አጋማሽ ውጥረት የበዛበት ጨዋታ ነበረ። በሀዲያ ሆሳዕና በኩል መከላከል፣ በኢትዮጵያ ቡና ሁለተኛ ጎል መፈለግ። በዚህ እንቅስቃሴ ውስጥ ታፈሰ ሰለሞን ለአቡበከር ናስር የሰጠው ኳስ የውድድር ዘመኑ 29ኛ ጎል ሆኗል። ከታፈሰ ጀምረን ካሰጣጡ ጀምረን ስለ አቡበከር አጨራረስ ነው።
አቡበከር ከዚህ በላይ የመጀመሪያውን ኳስ ቢያገባው ነበር የበለጠ የመጀመሪያው ግማሽ ላይ ያገኘው ያም ኳስ ከታፈሰ ነው የተገኘው። የሰጠበት መንገድ በጣም በበረኛውና በተከላካዩ መስመር መካከል የነበረው አጭር ስፔስ ነው የነበረው። ያንን ገምቶ ለአቡበከር ሰጥቶት ነበር። ያ ጎል መሆን አልቻለም። አሁን ደግሞ ሌላ ድንቅ ኳስ መስጠት ችሏል። የሱን እግረ ሰባራ አላረገውም። እንግዲህ አቡበከርም በጥሩ ሁኔታ ጨርሶለታል። የልጁ የመጨረስ ብቃት
በቃለ መጠይቁ ላይ ታፈሰ 29 ጎል ታስቆጥራለህ ብሎኝ ነበር። 29ኛውን ጎል ደግሞ የሰጠኝ እሱ ነው ብሏል። አንተ ደግሞ በማህበራዊ ድረገጽ 30 ጎል ያስቆጥራል ብላና አሁን ሀሳብን ቀይራለህ?
አይ 30 ጎል ያስቆጥራል አላልኩም። 30 ጎል አስቆጥራለሁ ያለው እሱ ነው አመቱ መጀመሪያ ላይ። ስለዚህ 26 ሲያገባ ለኔ ነው አብረን ያው ናሽናል ቲም ገና የመጀመሪያው ክረምት ከ7 ወር ረፍት በኋላ ማለት ነው 26 ሲያገባ ውጪ ነበር። 27ኛ ሪከርዱን ራሱ ያሻሽላል ብዬ ጽፌ ነበር። ኦልሞስት ለ30 ጎል የቀረበ ነገር ነው። በዚህም ቢቆም እኔ 30 እንዳገባ ነው የምቆጥረው። እርግጠኛ ነኝ ግን ከዚህም ከፍ ሊል ይችላል።
በጨዋታው ሀዲያ ሆሳዕናዎች ወደ አቻነት ለመምጣት የሚያደርጉትን ሙከራ በማዕዘን ምት በተገኘ ኳስ ሞክረው ነበረ። በዚህ ሂደት ውስጥ ተክለማርያም ሻንቆ የራሱ ትልቅ ሚና ነበረው። 85ኛው ደቂቃ ላይ የተገኘች ኳስ ነበረች። እቺ ኳስ እንደምትመለከተው አሰልጣኝ ውበቱ ከማዕዘን የተሻገረው ኳስ በግንባር ተገኝቷል። ነገር ግን የሱን ንቃትና በወቅቱ መገኘት ይፈልግ ነበር።
አዎ ይሄ ምንድነው መሰለ ሪአክሽኑ ጥሩ ነበረ። አንዳንድ ጊዜ ጎልኪፐሮች ቀድሞ የሚያደርጉት ውሳኔ ለሌላ ስህተት ይዳርጋቸዋል። ግን በዚህች አጭር ቅጽበት ውስጥ ኳሱን ኮንትሮል ያደረገበት ነገር ይሄ ጎል መቆጠር ቢችል ምናልባት ቡናን 3 ነጥብ ለመያዝ ሌላ አስቸጋሪ ሁኔታ ውስጥ ይከተው ነበር። የልጁ ሙከራ በጣም ጥሩ ነበር። ተክለማርያም ሴፍ ያደረገበት መንገድ በጣም
በብሔራዊ ቡድኑ ዋና አሰልጣኝ ፊት ጥሩ ነገር አሳይቷል ማለት ነው። ዛሬ
ያው ከኔ በላይ በኢትዮጵያ ሕዝብ እያየሁ ስለሆነ ምንም ግድ ነው ይሄ ለክለቡ ማድረግ የሚጠበቅበት የሚያደርገው ብዬ ነው።
እንግዲህ የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ የ24ኛ ዓመት የ25ኛ ሳምንትን የውድድር ደረጃና ሰንጠረዥ እየተመለከተ ነው። ፋሲል ከነማ 53 ነጥብ አለው። ኢትዮጵያ ቡና ከ3 ነጥብ በኋላ 40 ነጥብ ላይ ይገኛል። ለሁለተኝነት እድል ያለው ቡድን ከዚህ በኋላ ቅዱስ ጊዮርጊስ ብቻ ነው። 3 ነጥብና 5 የጎል ክፍያ ልዩነት አለው። ምናልባት አብዛኛው ነገር አብቅቷል ማለት እንችላለን።
በእግር ኳስ የሚከሰተው ነገር አይታወቅም ነው ሁሌ የምንለው። እሱ እንደተጠበቀው ነው። በዚህ ቴብል መሰረት ኢትዮጵያ ቡና የተሻለ እድል አለው መናገር ይቻላል። ሁሉም ቡድኖች አጋጣሚ የሚገጥሙት ኦልሬዲ መውረዳቸውን ያረጋገጡትን ነው የሚገጥሙት። ያም ቢሆን የደረጃቸውን ለመወሰን ኢትዮጵያ ቡና የተሻለ እድል አለው ብዬ አስባለሁ።
ወልቂጤ ከተማ ከኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ ረፋድ ላይ መውረዱን አረጋግጧል። ጅማ አባጅፋር አስቀድሞ ከሳምንታት በፊት አረጋግጧል። ኢትዮጵያ ቡና የመጨረሻ ጨዋታውን 13ኛ ደረጃ ላይ ከሚገኘው አዳማ ከነማ ጋር ያደርጋል። 13 ነጥብ ነው ያለው አዳማ ከነማ። በአሰልጣኝነት ያሰለጠንክበት ክለብ ነው አዳማ ከነማ። ወደ መጀመሪያዎቹ አካባቢ ያሰለጠንክበት ነውና መውረዱን ስትሰማ ምንድነው በውስጥ ፊልም ይታረጋል?
አይ መውረዱን ስሰማ ብቻ አይደለም ገና አመቱ ሲጀምር ሳይ በጣም ፊል አድርጌያለሁ። አትሊስት እነሱ ባይጠይቁኝ እንኳን እኔ መጠየቅ ስላለብኝ አትሊስት ምረዳችሁ ነገር ካለ ብዬ ጠይቄያለሁ ክለቡን። ግን ያው ካቅም በላይ ነው ሁሉ ነገር። ያው እንዳየው ነው ፊል ታደርጋለህ። የተጫወትኩበት ክለብ ነው፣ አሰልጣኝ ያደረገኝ ክለብ ነው፣ መነሻዬ ነው። በዚህ ሁኔታ ስታይ ግን እግር ኳስ ስለሆነ ከዚህም ሰርቫይቭ ማድረግ ይችላሉ ብዬ ነው የማስበው። ተመልሰው የአዳማን ትልቅነት ይመልሱታል ብዬ አስባለሁ።
ከልብ አመሰግናለሁ። ከረፋት ጀምሮ ከኛ ጋር ስለነበር ከአሰልጣኝ ውበቱ አባተ ከልብ እናመሰግናለን።
እኔም አመሰግናለሁ።
ክቡራን ተመልካቾቻችን የኢትዮጵያ ፕሪሚየር ሊግ አንድ ሳምንት ብቻ ቀርቶታል። 26ኛው ሳምንት ከ2 ቀናት በኋላ ሮብ የሚጀመር ይሆናል በሐዋሳ ከተማና በድሬዳዋ ጨዋታ። ለነበረን ቆይታ ከልብ እናመሰግናለን። መልካም ጊዜ እንዲሆንላችሁ እንመኛለን።